and welcome to ACC Primetime College Football presented by Serve Pro. An absolutely gorgeous night here in Central New York. Just saw the top of the dome. We're inside the dome, renewing a rivalry for the 81st time. The Syracuse Orange and the Pitt Panthers. Hi, everybody. Alongside Max Brown, I'm Chris Cotter. You can hear the crowd out here tonight. They're fired up about it. For the Pitt Panthers, meanwhile, you think about both these teams, actually, they had to make quarterback changes over the last couple of weeks. One by necessity and one by choice. We're going to start with the one by choice. The Panthers made a move to start the true freshman.
Yeah, it was Pat Narduzzi's choice to take a gamble and go with the true freshman, Mason Heinchel, away from Eli Holstein, who had a lot of hype going into the year. But since that decision, they're 2-0. They went on the road and got a win at Florida State with a true freshman quarterback's awfully impressive. The thing that jumps out about Mason Heinchel is his ability to make off-platform throws, get out of the pocket, but he stayed efficient too. 73% completion percentage through those two starts. It's allowed the defense to stay off the field, the offense stay on the field, and when he's got Desmond Reed right next to him as well, that's a good sign for that offensive attack.
Speaking about Desmond Reed, he's been banged up. He played last week, but he ended up on the injury report again this week. For more on that, let's send you down to the field and Kendra Douglas.
Oh, well, Chris, Pitt's Desmond Reed will be a game-time decision. I was talking with the team's director of football communications who confirmed that with me. Now, you kind of mentioned that he's been battling some lower body injuries. I watched him warming up, though, and he was able to give it a go, so he's giving that optimism to his team. Now, Reed is one of the most dynamic offensive weapons for this team. Talking with quarterback Mason Heinchel, he called him a game changer and a nightmare for defenses, so we will continue to keep tabs on Reed.
And you know, the time he has missed has opened up the door for Jakarian Turner, another true freshman getting some time for Pitt. He's shown what he could do in Reed's stead.
And now Turner's back healthy. Turner had a great spring ball, banged up during fall camp, but there's no doubt about it. Pitt is deep at running back, but with Desmond Reed there, is Fran Brown called him a freak show. So anytime the opposing head coach is calling another player a freak show, that's how you know it's a weapon they gotta be concerned with.
And now for the quarterback change by necessity. It's Syracuse, and the injury to the starter a couple of games ago opened up the door, and Ricky Collins had to go through it, the transfer from LSU.
Yeah, Steve Angeli, their starter, found his stride in that Clemson upset, but now it's Ricky Collins, like you said, because of injury. He has traits. The traits pop. There's a reason that he went to LSU and was a big recruit. I like his downfield passing attack. I think the mobility for him got unlocked versus SMU a couple of weeks ago, but the reality is it's been a rocky 2 starts. Now he's in start 3. Did the bye week help his case and give him confidence to settle into the role, or did it give him 2 weeks to think about the anxiety and the mistakes that he's made? Early on in this game is going to be a big deal for number 10.
Fran Brown in his second year made his bones as an assistant coach in places like Baylor and Georgia most recently. Last year, what a debut for him, with Syracuse winning 10 games, winning their bowl game. And then for Pat Narduzzi on the opposite side of the spectrum, one of the old heads in the ACC, his 11th season as a head coach, of course, winning the ACC back in 2021. Mention how these teams are playing for the 81st time. You think about it, they were in the Big East for a few years before joining the ACC, and they were East Coast independents for a long time and played so many years. Sort of a little bit of an underrated rivalry in the sense that they've been close to each other from a geographical standpoint, and also conference affiliation wise. They've always had to battle one another, and they'll do it again tonight.
It's really been a tale of 2 stories for both these teams the past month. I mean, Pitt found themselves 2 weeks ago 2-2, searching for themselves after 2 disappointing losses where they were up in both games. They've responded and had an excellent past couple of weeks. Syracuse, back-to-back years where they upset Clemson. You felt like the program was building upon what they did in year 1, in year 2 for Fran Brown, but then unfortunately had the Steve Angeli injury, and Fran Brown said it, this is a challenge. First time he's had to deal with this, first time he's had a program back-to-back losses as a head coach at Syracuse. So is the culture that Fran Brown built strong enough to overcome a loss of a star quarterback?
Pitt won the toss, and they defer to the second half, so Sam Carpenter will kick off. And another freshman, Tyreek Hill, there you see him, 39 in blue. He's back to return this kick. We'll show you a lot of true freshmen playing in this game tonight for both of these teams, and Hill is one of them. And we're underway inside the dome. A short kick. Hill's going to get an opportunity from his own 10. Tries to bounce it outside, brought down at the 24. And we'll get a closer look at Ricky Collins and this Syracuse offense.
The transfer from Louisiana State came here back in December, expecting to fight for the job. Obviously, Steve Angeli came in, and you're seeing the stats there. The completion percentage and the interceptions is what really sticks out. Got to stay more efficient, and interception-wise, got to protect the ball. I said it in the open. The traits flash. He's got a big arm. He's had a tendency to come up with 2 or 3 downfield throws a game. It's been the easy ones that he's got to be more consistent with.
On first down, he'll hand it to Yassine Willis, and this is a guy they want to get going. Big, tough, strong sophomore out of Newark, New Jersey, 6'1", 235.
They want to get him at least 25 touches, Fran Brown said, and unfortunately on the first touch, looks like center Austin Collins is banged up and on the turf.
Fifth-year senior Collins, who began his career at Louisville, transferred in. That's a tough break for Cuse already. Already a man down on that offensive line, and Byron Washington.
It's gonna be right there in the middle of the frame on the, oh, and you can see he got rolled up on.
Yeah.
He went right to his helmet right when he went on the turf, knowing it, had to think it was a bad one. You can see Fran Brown, his head coach, consoling him. Anytime the head coach is coming over quickly, you know it's not the best of signs, and it also shows that it's an impact player.
There's Josh Miller, 73. He's the backup center. He's going to be warming up now with the quarterback, Ricky Collins. Make sure he's ready to go.
That's not what you want for a quarterback trying to settle in and find his way. You don't want him having to now think about getting the snap from a new center and potentially cadence issues and everything that goes along with that. You want everything around your young quarterback to settle in.
How much are you working with a backup center during the week, if at all?
During the week, very little. The good sign, though, is that I would imagine Miller was part of the second team when Ricky Collins was part of the second team all fall camp, so maybe there is some familiarity there.
Second down and 6. Willis met in the backfield and dropped. Francis Brewell, first one to get there, 3-yard loss.
Yeah, they're gonna get Nick Lappy off the edge. 31 Lappy is in place for Rasheem Biles, their star linebacker, who's out this game. Like you said, seeing Francis Brewell, the defensive tackle, he might play at defensive end as well. Something to keep your eye on for this Pitt defense. Very thin at defensive end. Brewell might also have to play defensive tackle as well as defensive end in this game.
Third down and 9 for Syracuse. Collins to throw, has time, has a receiver, just overshoots him and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tamon Lynham. An inauspicious beginning for Collins and a beaut for the Panthers on the road.
Lynham, who was injured a couple weeks ago, now back at his field corner spot and gets a gift there. Can't do that as a quarterback. Throw an out route to the inside. It allows the defensive back to make a play on it. But man, for a quarterback that's struggling to find his way, for his first throw to be one of the hardest throws that you'll ask a quarterback to make, a timed deep out to the field, meaning the wide side of the field, that is not what you want to draw up. For a young quarterback, again, finding his way, that is a difficult throw for even an experienced quarterback to make.
Collins' 6th interception in his last now 2+ games. 97th attempt on the year. Jakirian Turner will get the start at tailback for Pitt, and he takes the handoff, crashes into the middle of that Syracuse line, and maybe picks up a yard. That'll be it. So it'll be interesting to see Whether it's Turner the whole way, whether Reed, who was warming up before the game for Pitt, will get some time, they start with Turner.
Yeah, you have to think if Reed's not getting the first carry, he might be out this game, or maybe it's one of those things. It's a long season. Desmond Reed's banged up. Maybe they try to see how this first quarter goes, see if they can rely on just the true freshman. If they need Reed later on, maybe that's a situation where he comes a factor.
Heinschel to throw. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Design quarterback draw. Gets just outside the 30 before Kevin Jobity brings him down. They'll mark him at the 31, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 4.
It's a nice design there, getting the quarterback draw. Seeing the efficiency last week versus Florida State, 21 for 29. That's impressive for a young quarterback. Right on cue, Desmond Reed. Again, their star running back. Very much a factor in 3rd down. He is their best receiving weapon. Right here, Pitt's going to look for Syracuse to be man-to-man coverage, see if they can get a one-on-one matchup with their running back in the pass game.
Orange show pressure, and they come with it. Flag down, though. They'll blow the play dead.
Offense for the 71. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Our referee tonight, Tim Hedgepeth, will move the Panthers back 5 yards.
You said it. Anytime Zero's in the game, he's going to be out on a route. 5-man protection. A little false start, though. Even in this dome, gets sneaky loud.
All the orange and blue on their feet. Reed now in the slot, under 5 on the play clock. Heinschel to throw. Orange also bring pressure. He's forced out of the pocket, but a C opens up in front of him. 20, 15, inside the 10. He'll score! "36 yards for the freshman from the Toledo, Ohio area, and the Panthers turn a turnover into points."
Syracuse gets out of their rush lanes. It's man-to-man coverage on the back end, which means no one's accounting for Mason Heinschel. You're seeing the instincts that this true freshman quarterback has. Everyone's covered up. There's a lane for me to run down. He was maybe thinking, hey, I'm just going to get 10 in the first down. Instead, he gets a house call.
Trey Budkowski for the PAT. He splits the uprights. Mason Heinschel finds pay dirt. Family on hand. Dad approves. 7-0 Pitt. Pitt's broken out on top early, turning a interception into a Mason Heinschel 36-yard touchdown run. His first career rushing touchdown. Ran the ball effectively last week against Florida State down in Tallahassee, and he's picked up right where he left off today.
He's chatting with his offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, right there. How much of a luxury is that? Newer rule as of last year, iPads in college football. Allows you to teach a young quarterback on the fly.
Hill again. Just got out to the 20. You think about Syracuse and all the firepower they lost from last year. Kyle McCord, LaQuint Allen, Aronde Gadsden. Some players in the NFL. And here you can.
We got last year,
yeah,
too. It was a feast for that Pitt defense. 5 interceptions versus Kyle McCord. He ended up at the end of the season being the nation's leading passer. You said it, Chris. He had to replace a lot of guys on this Syracuse offense. Pitt, though, that was the team that had the Orange's number a year ago.
Flag on the return is going to push back Syracuse, and kind of you said it in that last possession. The last thing you want if you got your quarterback struggling is for him to make a difficult throw and throw a pick. The second thing you don't want is to start a drive from your own 10.
Have to find a way to either support him with the run game or find easy completions. Get him settled in. You know his heart is racing right now.
Give it to Willis. He'll crash forward for a pickup of maybe a yard. Braylon Lovelace, part of this outstanding linebacking crew for Pitt, along with Kyle Lewis. Now they're missing Rasheem Biles. They call it the money backer. He's out today with injury. So Nick Lappy, who made a tackle in that last series, is in form.
Yeah, it's a Pitt defense that tops in the country, 7th nationally in rush yards per game, only giving up 83. So in terms of establishing the run, easy to say, hard to do versus this Pitt defense.
Collins to throw. Checks it off. It deflects off his receiver, Willis' hands. And that dangerously fluttered to the ground, but luckily for the Orange, it's just an incomplete pass.
Nice blitz design, too. Getting a linebacker from depth involved there. Right here, and one of those 3rd and longs. Had 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 the time before. Elected to go an out route on the outside lane. I'd expect here, do something right in front of your quarterback's face, maybe a draw play. Don't allow him to make a catastrophic mistake backed up in your own end zone.
Will Nixon is in a tailback for the Orange. Son of offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon. Collins to throw. That's a receiver out there, and Darrell Gill makes the catch, but he's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down. It'll force a Syracuse punt. You can see the arm talent there anyways. He rifled that one in.
Nice timing route, too, to respond. Last time you had a timing route, you threw an interception. To let it rip, it's good to at least get that one completion, see that through, and maybe get some confidence back. But credit this Pitt defense. 2 3 and outs.
Jack Stonehouse, one of the best punters in the country, sends one high in the air. Fair caught at the last minute by Kenny Johnson. And at that spot right there is where Pitt will take over. Panthers with the early lead here at Syracuse.
ACC Primetime Football is presented by Surf Pro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
Pizza spot. Everybody says it's the place across from Dinosaur Barbecue. It's like that's the baseline for which you judge everything downtown Syracuse. Where is it in relation to Dinosaur Barbecue? Because that's where everybody has been. It looked pretty damn good, though.
I got to study up on my Syracuse pizza knowledge.
You do. I mean, the varsity is a go-to, but certainly I would visit that place in a second. Second offensive drive for the Panthers. Again, it's Jakirian Turner. They call him Bootsy in the backfield with Heinschel. Bootsy gets the carry around left end. Maybe a yard. Kendra Douglas is on the field with more on Heinschel.
Well, when I caught up with Mason Heinschel, he told me that his leadership, for him, it's been in his DNA since he was a kid, something his dad, Eric, always pushed him to embrace. He said once you find your rhythm, the confidence follows, and for a young guy in that spot, he gives his credit to his teammates for just truly and believing in him. And also, I'd like to mention, went to Dinosaur Barbecue the other night. It was amazing.
There you go. All right, Kendra, making sure she hits all the spots on the road.
I got to get that invite next time. I got to study up on the local spots.
You also got to judge it properly because it gets really packed, so you got to make sure you get there at the right time.
Ball start. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
There's Mason's dad.
Yeah, it was cool talking with Cade Bell, the offensive coordinator, about his young quarterback, Mason Heinschel. Said that the second that he got here, he's been in the film room, not even when he was starting, but even as the backup, there till 8 p.m. And keep in mind, Pitt's facility is off campus. You got to take a bus to get there. Not the easiest way to do it, but from the day he's got on campus, he's led the reins of teaching the young guys the offense.
Heinschel to throw. Checks down. It's Qatar's Hicks. Goes by Blue. He's able to pick up that penalty yardage back.
It's a big third down for Syracuse. Take advantage of the penalty. You're sensing that with the crowd. They can sense it too. They're standing up on their feet. You've had no momentum on your side. Finding a way to get off the field. Look for David Reese, 8. And Jamie Tremblay, 82 pass rushers.
Reed in the backfield with Heinschel. Syracuse brings just 3. Heinschel tries to find Thomas downfield, and is defended beautifully by Devin Grant. Snuck the tight end downfield, Max, and the safety Grant was all over him.
It's a pretty good throw, too. I thought there was a chance you might get pass interference. Defensive-wise, you can see there right on the hash mark, Syracuse has an extra linebacker. They're spying the quarterback, which shows how much respect they have for Mason Heinschel's legs, knowing they got beat on the quarterback run game last time. Keeping an extra defender, not rushing, but instead monitoring the quarterback with a fumble.
Caleb Jungo, speaking of the fumble, dropped the snap, but he gets off a really good kick. Very fortunate that he was able to get it off, and it takes a huge Pitt bounce, rolling all the way down to the 11. So it looked like it might have been a disaster for the Panthers, and you see Junko getting the love on the sideline. He turned what might have been like a turnover deep in your own end to a 48-yard kick.
That's an incredible play. Showing off the athleticism for a punter, too, to roll with the mishap. You can see him looking at his hands saying, ate that popcorn before the game, a little slick.
The Dinosaur Barbecue.
There you go. Got the pizza sauce on his hands. A little cheese. But no, seriously, that's a great play. That easily could have been blocked or a terrible punt. Instead, he was able to still pin Syracuse.
Collins wants to get it out to Willis. Trying to make something happen in space. He gets popped behind the line of scrimmage. That time, Joey Zielinski back from injury at that defensive end spot for Pitt, tracking him down. Well, they're trying to get the ball into Willis's hands in a number of different ways.
Pretty good play call, too. Pitt blitzed both middle linebackers. Swinging it to the running back's a great call, but Kyle Lewis and the athleticism first-team All-American right there on full display, not able to get blocked, not letting himself get blocked by the receiver, coming up with a tackle in space.
Loss of about 4 on the play. Collins now to throw. Gets it to Valari's tight end, just rumbling and bumbling and stumbling out beyond the 10. Javier Baines-Marquez on the tackle, pickup of about 4 or 5, and if Willis is a guy they want to get the ball to, they certainly want to get it to Dan Valari as well. We talked about Aronde Gadsden last year. Now with the LA Chargers, coaching staff says Valari is better with the ball in his hands after the catch than Gadsden was last year.
Yeah, it's a passing attack, like you said, that featured Gadsden. Valari slides in there. They feel like they have back-to-back NFL caliber tight ends on this offense.
Third down for the Syracuse offense on the day, and the average distance to go is 9 yards. A little confusion for Ricky Collins. Does get the play off, though. Pitt brings pressure up the middle. Collins gets rid of it and hits Gill. Just beyond the 20, that's going to move the sticks. First down of the night for the Orange.
Got Ricky Collins. That's where the ball should have gone a couple seconds earlier. Ultimately, he got him the rock eventually. It's a good job going through his reads, ultimately getting there. Nice little 5-yard under route. Catch it, allows your receiver to do something with it after.
Will Nixon on the carry. Pile moving beyond the 25. Braylon Lovelace and Jasir Whittington combine on the stop. They'll mark it at the 25.
That's going to be the task for offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon. How can I find those types of completions and scheme my receivers open so my young quarterback can just get the ball out of his hands quickly? I also like concepts with quarterbacks that are still trying to find their way, that stick on one side of the field. Don't ask your quarterback to scan all 5 progressions left to right. Stick in one area keeps his read more simple.
Give to Willis. Lovelace again as Willis just gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple of feet beyond.
Coach Rick said it in the pregame show, but he said when his teams had success versus this Pitt defense, it was when they were winning on the outside lanes. And the reason is Pitt and Pat Narduzzi's identity, they're going to allocate safeties and linebackers immediately towards the run game. If Syracuse in this offense is going to get unlocked at all, those outside lane catches to Ross Simmons, we've seen Gill already, haven't said Jonte Cook's name at all, but that's where you got to win. So many one-on-one matchups.
Just 5 yards rushing on 5 carries for Syracuse so far. They're going to move back 5 yards.
False start. Offense number 57. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Big old Demetrius Witherspoon on the right side of that line. Offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon told us Witherspoon and Joe Cruz, the right guard, are both playing at all conference levels. But that mistake by Witherspoon will move him back 5.
Yeah, Witherspoon played some at left tackle prior, moved over to right tackle. They feel like he has a NFL future, so the move to right tackle was better suited for him.
Once again, 3rd and long.
A lot of confusion and sluggish lining up.
Official timeout for an injury.
Yeah, we had some blood on a player's hand, so he had to come out of the game, hence the official timeout.
And then that would mean a 3rd-string center is in.
Travis Brown-Miller is the one who came in. Collins to throw. Pressure on the edge. He's going to have to tuck it. Gets what he can, but it ain't much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Now we've got a Pitt Panther down in the backfield.
Looks like Kyle Lewis, too. That's not a good sign for Pitt.
As we mentioned earlier, already without Rasheem Biles, their starting money backer. And now Lewis, who plays the star position, team captain on this team. Now he's down. You can see what he did in Tallahassee last week. Completely wrecking that Florida State offense.
Yeah, 11 tackles a week ago. You can see Pat Narduzzi, his head coach, came over there quickly.
Pitt is really thin. They're thin at linebacker, or they would be, especially if Lewis isn't able to return, and they're really thin at defensive end as well.
Yeah.
You can see some of the injuries that Pitt is dealing with. Both of these teams have had to deal with it. We're going to take a quick break while the staff of the Panthers continues to look at Kyle Lewis. Panthers up early here in the Dome. Let's look at that last play where Kyle Lewis was injured, Max.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire. One linebacker kneeing the other. It was Nick Lappy's like left leg getting Kyle Lewis, and he's walking off. Thankfully, he's okay.
Definitely looks a little woozy, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
But at least he was able to walk off, and he got up, and so that's a good sign. Another big kick from Stonehouse. Flag down behind the play, and this is going to take a Syracuse bounce, but it may not matter. As Stonehouse was dumped, and there's a flag at his feet. Fran wants the call to be the personal foul type, roughing the kicker. That was a 55-yard punt. If it's running into the kicker, I'm sure Fran will take the punt for 55 yards rather than the 5-yard penalty.
Defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
That's what it was, the 5-yard variety, so he'll take the 55-yard punt.
The foul was on number 26.
See Stonehouse, leg plants, and then, gets ran into. They love Jack Stonehouse. They said, Fran Brown said, he might be our punter, but he can play safety for us. Got an edge to him. Great athlete.
Their best football player, the punter.
Gotta love it. And he walks into the facility rocking a cowboy hat and no shirt. Not sure how long that's gonna play out in Syracuse, New York winners, but
you can do it as long as he's punting the ball for 46 yards a punt. on average, but for 4th in the country. Heinschel looking to throw. Ball dropped by Kenny Johnson, who had a massive game in Heinschel's first career start a couple of weeks ago in Pittsburgh. They dispatched of Boston College.
Yeah, to me it feels like Kenny Johnson is an X factor, maybe just the receiver room in general. Like last week, yes, you had a good day at the office for Mason Heinschel, but half your completions are going to running backs or tight ends. They didn't do a good job necessarily of unlocking the receivers. If Pitt's going to contend for an ACC title, that's the next step for this offense.
Heinschel again to throw. Has time, but now the pocket's collapsing, and it collapses all around him. Elijah Fuentes-Cundiff was first on the scene, and others cleaned up.
Yeah, it was Fuentes-Cundiff and Chase Simmons as well, 30. Really just a team sack by this Orange defense. All 5 guys just caving down on Mason Heinschel, and we've seen so many 3rd and longs for Syracuse. Now Pitt finds themselves in one here. Again, 3rd and long, you have to circle number 0 in the backfield. Running back Desmond Reed, got to look his way.
Orange bring 4, but they'll blow the play dead. It's probably good for Pitt.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 53, 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Yeah, Raheem Long had a clear path to the quarterback on the safety blitz.
People don't talk about the noise necessarily in this dome, but it can be a factor, especially if you get some juice on your side. I remember starting here in the same year when I was at Pitt. Started on the road at Penn State and on the road here. Don't get me wrong, Penn State was more, but I remember screaming to my offensive line here inside the dome.
Reed now in the slot, so an empty backfield. Heinschel to throw on 3rd and forever. He has time, and he's going deep downfield. It's intercepted. Inside the 30. Inside the 15 goes Damian Kerr. The Orange are in business.
This is an excellent job by Damian Kerr. He's going to work back towards the middle and just read the eyes of a young quarterback. Goes too late, comes across the middle. It was the 3rd safety look. Circled the wrong one because there's so many safeties back there. That was a look that Florida State gave Pitt a lot last week. 3 safeties deep. It's a look you don't see at all in high school football. Taking advantage of a young quarterback, throwing the ball late across the middle. It's a great job by this Syracuse defense.
Heinschel threw 2 picks last week in Tallahassee. That's his first tonight. Willis takes some abuse, but gets it down to the 11. Maybe a 1.5 yard shot battle on the tackle. They are working Willis inside, and he is getting popped, but he is big enough and strong enough to handle. Again, 235 pounds. They want him to wear on that Pitt defense tonight.
Have to take advantage of this opportunity if you're Syracuse. That was a gift. Excellent play, but that's a gift. Not going to get this many opportunities for a quarterback that's still trying to find their way. Got to capitalize as they go a unique wildcat formation here with Villari as the quarterback, their tight end.
Play clock inside of 5. Don't get it off. Got the timeout, though. Fran Brown ran down and made sure he got the timeout. And while Brown and his coaching staff talk about it, let's tell you about next Saturday, a full day of ACC football. Starting at noon, number 18, Virginia heads to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina. 3:30, this very Pitt team is going to host NC State. We'll be on hand. And then for the final game of the night, Louisville, coming off their big win against Miami on Friday night, hosts Boston College at 7:30, all right here on the ACC network and on the ESPN app. The league is turned upside down a little bit. with that Louisville win, because now Miami is knocked from the ranks of the unbeaten. Georgia Tech stays unbeaten. They had a tough time of it early today in Durham, but they ended up outlasting the Blue Devils. Virginia in action out of conference right now against Washington State, and then SMU with a good road win against the Kate Klubnik-less Clemson team.
Speaking of out of conference too, Virginia, their one loss is to NC State, but that game was technically out of conference. Oh, how that could be a pivotal nuance in this whole ACC title conversation come November.
No question about it. Virginia and Georgia Tech do not play each other on the year, so that's something to keep an eye on too in terms of the unbeaten teams. Second down, Collins to throw to the end zone, touchdown! Gill with the diving catch.
Excellent throw by Ricky Collins. Love the call by Jeff Nixon, his offensive coordinator too. Think Pitt's expecting run. Ricky Collins hasn't necessarily settled into this game, but you know you're going to get a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Collins, to his credit, throws that ball on time and low to protect his receiver. And Gill comes up with a big catch and a big score for the Orange.
Woody for the PAT, and it's good. Both touchdowns scored in this game off turnovers and short fields.
Love how decisive Ricky Collins is here. Fakes the run, throws it through 3 layers of that Pitt defense. It's an accurate throw and then low as well, so he can catch it, protect himself, and get in the end zone.
Looks like it got tipped ever so slightly as well. Trajectory changed a bit. Great concentration by Gill to corral his 4th touchdown catch of the season.
Can't tell you how much of an impact that makes for Ricky Collins' confidence too. He threw that when he got the touchdown. That was the biggest fist pump he's probably ever made in his career. To just be able to exhale and then settle into this ball game, start trusting himself.
Tough start by this Orange. Love it, kind of taking the crowd out of it in this building a little bit early as well. Now they're back into it.
Really comes back to that Mason Heinschel 3rd down throw that was unnecessary. It sparked this Orange team.
Deuce Spann will take a knee. Syracuse, we talked about it all night long about the injury to Steve Angeli. They were cooking, even though they lost to Tennessee in week 1. They won 3 games in a row, including a win at Clemson. So they were 1-0 in conference play, and then Angeli gets hurt. He's out for the season, and everything sort of pivoted on that point.
It really felt like that Clemson win, to do it back-to-back years. You were building in year 2 for Fran Brown on all the good stuff you did in year 1, but then really just derailed by a quarterback injury. Been a tough past couple of weeks, but that throw right there from Ricky Collins is a bright spot for sure.
Since Heinschel's 36-yard touchdown run, Pitt has -9 yards in 6 plays, and another negative play here. Gary Bryant, the 3rd on the tackle, and a loss of 4.
Syracuse taking a page out of Pitt's playbook, defensive playbook that is, walking linebackers up on the edge. Gary Bryant usually playing that middle linebacker spot there. He was playing in that defensive end stance. Fran Brown very much involved. Yes, he's a head coach, very much involved in this defensive game plan. Coaches the defensive backs as well, which is rare for a head coach.
Heinschel to throw. Hits his receiver, Kenny Johnson. And a flag down in the backfield. You got to check that marker. Johnson picked up about 7.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face, defense number 5. The 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play. Automatic first down. The player whose helmet came off may remain in the game.
True freshman linebacker Antoine Delorier.
Yeah, Delorier blitzing from that middle linebacker spot, engages right guard B.J. Williams, and then his hands just reach up towards the under part of the face mask. Can't do it, but man, they're excited about that. Young linebacker, true freshman from Canada, big shoes to fill. Marlowe Wax moved on to the NFL. For a true freshman to be playing at the level he is awfully impressive.
Pitching it to Reed, his first carry of the night. You can see the speed on the edge. He's forced out of bounds near midfield by Bryant.
Just totally changes the complexion of this Pitt offense with Desmond Reed back there. Can't say it enough. It's all facets. Inside run game, the pitches like we're seeing there, and the pass game obviously as well.
And now inside, as he works his way close to the marker, they're going to move the sticks. Kerr on the tackle. This is a guy who's 5'8", 175, listed as 5'8", 175 pounds.
And a byproduct of the great part of the transfer portal. So often we hear about the bad side, but starts at Western Carolina with his offensive coordinator, Cade Bell. Cade Bell gets the promotion, now OC at Pitt, brings the star running back with him.
Heinschel avoids the pressure initially, now forced out of the box. Throws it downfield, and Blue Hicks lost his footing, and Demetrius Samuel, true freshman, almost made a play on it.
Another true freshman for this Q's defense that they love. That easily could have been an interception. Goes right through both his hands. Seeing the arm strength from Heinschel. Probably the reason why it went through both hands. To throw that ball on the run, that was a rocket. Trying to have his guy make a play, but instead, you're seeing Samuel try to make a play.
Give the Bootsy. Stuffed, maybe a yard. That's probably going to be the final play of this first quarter. The orange on their feet inside JMA Wireless. Didn't get off to a great start for their team, but Fran Brown has them fired up. They've got the equalizer. All tied up as we head to the second.
Welcome back here with head coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, you took a big hit with Kyle Lewis going down. What can you tell us about that, and how do you want to see this offense get going?
Well, we're still evaluating Kyle, we can't turn the ball over. Turn the ball over, give him 7 points. Got to play smarter on offense and our next man up on defense. Kind of how we've been all year.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, turnovers have been huge, especially throwing interceptions. I mean, Syracuse's pick tonight, the 8th on the year for Syracuse quarterbacks, and Pitt quarterbacks have thrown 9, including Heinschel's earlier today. Gets it out to his receiver. Oh, man, Kenny Johnson almost broke it, and he knows it. He was a shoestring away, and Devin Grant had a hold of that shoestring, or he was gone.
It's an excellent play call by offensive coordinator Cade Bell. Syracuse is bringing the house. Get the ball out right away. See if your receivers can make a miss. And like you said, a shoestring away from that being a touchdown.
First opportunity to see Juelz Goff in the backfield for the Panthers. Heinschel to throw. Has time. Now tries a back shoulder. And Goff out of the backfield just couldn't bring it in. Barry Buxton, who Coach Brown said, I'm expecting a lot from him tonight in coverage.
Yeah, double coverage right there, too. That's about the only spot you could have put it without it being intercepted. Giving Goff a chance to make a play. Seeing the fact that Goff is the 3rd running back heading into this game speaks to the depth that Pitt has at that position.
You see Heinschel's numbers. He had success very early in their first drive running the ball when he scored on that 36-yard touchdown. Haven't been able to do much through the air. Dumps it underneath. Hicks. Inside the 25. Spun out by Samuel, but they'll move the sticks again.
Can see the speed that Hicks brings to the park. Transfer from Louisville. Louisville is very much a slot receiver. With Pitt, they'll put him on the outside, but they feel like he has the highest ceiling of all these receivers. You can see why with his burst on that play.
Heinschel looks to the sideline. 10th play of this drive. Gives it to Turner. Umpire gets in the way. Turner's still on his feet. Finally gang tackled at the 5. Deuce Chestnut and a whole slew of Orange needed to take him down.
Yeah, they look back, check the play call, audible to a run. Boosie Turner truck sticks the ref along his way, along with what looks like the entire Orange defense. Good response here by Pitt to be 3rd and 9. Convert that, and now we're rolling. Knocking on the doorstep of a touchdown.
Turner started in the slot. Now he's in the backfield. Takes the handoff. Tries to get to the outside. Nowhere to go. Orange pursuit drags him down. Delorier led the way.
Nice job keeping contained by Delorier. Notice back-to-back runs for Pitt, running to the right side. We haven't talked about it yet today, but the left side of the offensive line for Pitt, both their starters are out. Jeff Percy was their starting left tackle. Keith Gueva was their starting left guard. Both guys in there now were backups to start the year.
Heinschel to throw. Nice job in tackling the ball carrier Cornell Perry. Out there on the running back. If he doesn't make that tackle, Turner scores.
And that's a key in this game. So much athleticism from the skill players for Pitt. Got to tackle an open field. Another 3rd down here. It was interesting talking with Cade Bell. He said his young quarterback Mason Heinschel actually does better versus zone coverage, which is unique for a young guy, rather than man coverage. Man coverage is usually a cleaner picture to read, but then you got to get the ball out of your hands quicker. Does Syracuse go zone or man here?
Heinschel has time. Wants to run it in himself. Brought down. Grant on the sack.
Just excellent team defense by Syracuse, really mixing up zone and man this entire drive. Great job by this defensive line, keeping their rush lanes, not giving Heinschel anywhere to step up into the pocket or out of the pocket. And he allowed Devin Grant to ultimately come down with the sack.
That'll bring Butkowski on to attempt a 31-yard field goal. An outstanding 12 for 13 on the year. Snap, hold, and kick are all good. Pitt ends a long drive with a field goal to regain the lead here in the Dome. Minutes left to go here in this second quarter. Good crowd on hand on a beautiful day here in Syracuse, New York. Pitt just retaking the lead on a Butkowski field goal. 10-7 our score. Carpenter lets it fly. Fair catch by Talik Hill. Game summary's pretty simple here tonight. 2 turnovers, 1 by each team, giving the opposing offenses short fields, Max, and they've taken advantage.
Yeah, and it does feel like Pitt's had command of this game. Syracuse had the turnover we're seeing right here of a late throw across the middle by Heinschel. Then you return it all the way into the red zone, and all you need is just one throw from your quarterback, Ricky Collins. Nice throw right there. That's got to be the DNA for Syracuse. Lean on your defense, and then can this offense come up with enough big plays? They're not going to be able to drive the length of the field consistently with 10, 12-play drives, but can they convert with downfield shots?
36 total yards. Collins wants to change that. Looking for Gill downfield, and he almost makes a spectacular catch. Javon McIntyre had good coverage, but that was a pretty nice throw.
It was, and this shows up the one area of Ricky Collins' game. The deep ball down the field. Throws a nice spiral, nice touch, and has a big arm just off the fingertips of Gill there. Wouldn't be surprised if they go back to more deep post shots down the field for the same logic that I just said.
Collins' first misfire in his last 6 attempts. Gets that one out quickly to Cook, so Daryl Gill has been his favorite receiver, but waiting on Jonte Cook to get involved. That's his first catch of the day.
Cook's the guy that might have the most upside too. Big recruit, started at Texas, flirted with the fact of going to Washington, finds himself here at Syracuse. They need to get him going.
Up the middle. Nixon picks up a couple.
That's something for us to keep our eye on too, especially as this game gets into the second half. Pitt is now playing with backup outside linebackers, and their defensive ends are really thin. They might even be playing with third-string defensive ends. So as the game goes on, does that depth really wear for Pitt? And on the same side for Syracuse, can you establish the run to wear them down even more?
Just the third first down of this game for the Syracuse offense. Collins feeling it a little bit here, finds Cook. Good pickup on first down. Now he's hit Jonte Cook a couple of times on this drive. And you can clearly see he's throwing with more confidence.
Have to think that touchdown pass, to see that caught for a touchdown, had to give him a lot of confidence, allows him to exhale.
Nixon spins off of one and two tackles before Braylon Lovelace finally brings him down. Looks like he's going to be just shy of the first down. Kayla, what's going on?
Well, quarterback Ricky Collins told me that bye week was a great reset for them to figure things out, see what they can do to put themselves in a position to win. You talked about just now how he feels a little bit more confident in this group right now. He said, yeah, that also helped him too. He's more comfortable in the offense when he first started, crediting the coaches for helping instill that confidence in him as well. So we're seeing a lot of that play out.
Thank you, Kendra. First down for the Orange.
That's a tough spot to be in if you're Ricky Collins. I mean, not only are you replacing Steve Angeli, who had some success, but both those guys are replacing Kyle McCord, who I made the point last year. I don't think there was a quarterback in college football that had more on his shoulders last year than Kyle McCord in terms of, I mean, they rolled the ball out every single week and said, Kyle McCord, if you play lights out, we win. If you don't, we're going to lose this game. There's a reason he led the country in passing, but it's just tough to fill those shoes and find your way on the fly.
Villari. There you can see what he can do once he gets the ball in his hands. Lappy on the tackle, but it's an outstanding gain.
Great drive as we're seeing Jeff Nixon, their offensive coordinator. He has to be pleased with this drive and the momentum that they've started. Getting his quarterback easy throws and getting his kid the rock a few times too. Will Nixon is the son of Jeff Nixon, his play caller.
Yassin, flag down, a couple of flags. Looks like every official on the field saw this infraction.
Holding. Offense number 89. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Fourth penalty on the night against Syracuse. This time they got Villari.
Seeing Villari just on the end of the line, gets tangled up, can't do that. The left bicep of Nate Temple, defensive end for Pitt. And you try to compare and contrast Villari and Gadsden from last year, both NFL caliber tight ends. I feel like Villari gives him more in the blocking game. Gadsden was obviously a huge receiving threat for Syracuse last year. Receiving threat for the Chargers this year.
Remember, Villari was recruited as a quarterback at Michigan first before becoming an outstanding tight end. Cook again near midfield. Fran Brown the first to greet him when he comes up. Word or two before he heads back into the huddle.
That's 3 quick out routes to Jonte Cook. What's the wrinkle for Jeff Nixon, offensive coordinator, off of that? Do you pump one of those and try to hit a hole shot to an outside lane receiver? Do you fake like you're breaking out with Cook and then break in towards the middle of the field? That's how offensive coordinators are thinking, setting up certain play calls down the road.
Collins with time. Now he wants to tuck it and run it. Lovelace again with the tackle. Collins shaking up a little bit after that hit. Stayed down on the turf for a few seconds. Now he's up. See how he lands on this tackle.
Kind of got caught in between diving and sliding, and defenders coming from both angles.
Lappy was there just to kind of hit him at a bad angle. 4th down and about 5, midfield. Coach Brown opting to try and pin Pitt deep here with just under 6 to play in this first half.
I think this is a decision. Don't put your quarterback in a bad spot now that he has confidence, and trust your defense who's playing well.
Stonehouse end over end. It's going to drop at the 5 and a beautiful punt. Stonehouse does his job once again. Pitt leads, but they're starting this drive from deep in their own territory when we come back. Since 1955.
That's a sweet stadium. That was a
Look at that one.
basketball score 9 years ago, 76-61. I remember when I was transferring to Pitt in December of 16, they were recruiting off of that game. #1 offense in the country that year under Matt Canada, Nate Peterman, James Conner, putting up big time numbers.
Heinzel hands it off to Reed. Look at the quickness on the outside. Just burst through the hole and still on his feet out near the 30. Got a marker just before he was run out of bounds. That's 19 very fast yards. That ankle looks okay to me.
So does that stiff arm. That was a vicious stiff arm.
Face mask. Offense #0.
And he's going to get called for it.
The distance to the goal.
Still might make for a great highlight for Desmond Reed. Little man, says 5'6". Come get some of this stiff arm. You see the burst, like you said, Chris, and then they're going to get him right there. Just yanks him down. Yeah, obviously can't do that. I think running back great Jim Brown and all the legends the Orange had, though, they probably would have got away with that in their day. I guess they probably would have had no face mask.
No face mask. Just rake the eyes.
Yeah, just eye gouge the defender.
Heinzel to throw pressure right up the middle, and he avoids it somehow. Not entirely, though. They got him the second time around. That was David Reese, the transfer from Cal. Missed the first time, didn't miss the second time.
Just goes unaccounted for. Offensive line-wise, if a defender's rushing in the A gap, which is between the center and the guard, that's the most dangerous rusher. Got to pick him up. Nice job by this Syracuse defense, really settling in. Ever since that big long run that Mason Heinschel had, this defense has been flying around.
Heinschel rolls the pocket, hits a tight end on the run. Out near the 20, that's going to be a first down for Jake Overman. And you can see what Pitt's done. They just had the one long drive. Other than that, and the touchdown off the interception. Reed dancing, can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Laurier again on the tackle. Laurier is someone that defensive coordinator Elijah Robinson said goes about his business like Paul Posluszny, which is a huge compliment when you think about Robinson, who played with Posluszny in his days at Penn State. Five is a player to watch for years to come. So is this guy, Heinschel. Sidearms it out to the tight end. Overman again. Can't avoid the tackle, as Chris Peel does a nice job from his cornerback spot, coming up and making the tackle one-on-one on the big tight end.
A nice job picking up that blitz by Desmond Reed, too, off the edge. Talked a lot about Syracuse having to replace Gadsden. Pitt's had to replace Gavin Bartholomew, who was their tight end for what felt like a decade at Pitt. Overman, healthy now, who's banged up early on in the year, settled into that role in a big 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 here as well.
It'll be 3rd and longer.
False start. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Coming into this opportunity, Pitt's converted on just 2 of 6 on 3rd down. Now it'll be 3rd and 11.
This totally changes your playbook. At 3rd and 6, you can call 5-yard outs and hit 5-yard hitches and slant routes and maybe pick up the first down. When it's 3rd and 11, you gotta have some sort of vertical down the field concept. When Pitt's at their best, I like the dig route maybe by Kenny Johnson on the outside lane. Top of your screen, number 2. That's his role for this Pitt offense if Mason Heinschel's given time.
Heinschel isn't given a lot of time. Flags fly. Brought down by Kevin Jobity.
Offense number 56. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And Syracuse continues to apply pressure on the freshman Heinschel. That's 4 sacks.
And they went with the dig route to Kenny on the top of your screen. Heinschel's trying to step up and find his receiver. Too much pressure, man, that's really come on for the Orange this second quarter. Not only D-line wise, but linebackers, safeties getting involved. Again, that left side of the Pitt offensive line, those are backups to start the year, having to play like starters today.
Junko, not a great kick, but it's going to take a Pitt bounce. It's going to end up being pretty good. Syracuse will take over from their own 37. 2:42 left to go in this first half. The Orange trail by 3.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Final 2:42 in this first half inside the Dome. Pitt jumped out to an early 7-point lead. It's been a very competitive game ever since. Ricky Collins thrown with much more authority recently, and he's going to go up top trying to back shoulder it to Jonte, but not even close. We got a flag down. Might be roughing the passer. It's right at the feet of where Collins threw that ball. It might have gone low. We'll check the replay.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 96, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Your mindset, if you're Fran Brown, Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator, as we're seeing the hit right here. Ooh, that could have been ugly. As a former quarterback, whenever I see your left knee get rolled into it, my spine shivers still to this day. But their mindset is their quarterback's got some confidence. He didn't have it in the first quarter, does in the second quarter. You want to have a drive here that obviously you want points, but you want to allow your quarterback to play within the system so that confidence goes into the second half as well.
It's going to go against 95, Francis Brewu, who was too low on that hit. So now, just like that, Syracuse is in Pitt territory. Showing a little pressure here. Yassin. It has been tough sledding for 6 and blue tonight. Jimmy Scott on the tackle. Pitt players thought that ball came out. Officials are not at least initially agreeing on it.
There's no signal either way.
The Pitt players are adamant about it. The entire team, they're not going to get it.
It's an excellent play by Jimmy Scott, 44.
That might have come out. The only thing I think saves Willis is if they ruled that forward progress had already stopped. Watch the ball come out. No elbow yet. That's close. That right elbow might have been down, but it might not have been. We'll get our first review of the night as Steve Jost, our replay official, will look at that. Yeah, we'll do it while we're in the 2-minute timeout, and we'll sort it all out when we come back. Pitt leading by 3.
get there.
That was the last play. Wanted you to hear the whistle as Yassine Willis's forward progress had stopped before the ball came out, so the play is dead. So there was no replay required or initiated on that play. Forward progress had stopped. The whistle's blew before the ball came out. Still not a great play for Syracuse. It's a loss of a couple of yards. Right at the 50 now, 2nd and 12. Pressure up the middle. Picked up initially. Collins now to throw. Over the middle late, and it's picked off. Brookins with the return near the 40, and Cruz Brookins was just camping under that one. He could have called for a fair catch.
Yeah, it's just late. You're gonna have both these safeties go too high, and it's just late by Collins across the middle. You can see the bottom field safety creep back in there. It's not necessarily the bad read, it's just late. And the Pitt secondary making him pay. Honestly, a very similar feel to the interception that Syracuse got off Mason Heinschel late down the middle on a slot receiver coming inside for a seam. That's gonna be the discussion right there, is don't necessarily mind that decision, just needs to be a full count earlier.
Second pick of the night. Bootsy trying the left side. Got the edge. He may go all the way. Flag down behind the play as Kiarian Turner scores. 61 yards, but this one may be coming back.
Holding. Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's going to go against the wideout, Kenny Johnson. Narduzzi's hot.
And let's see if he has a reason to be. I think that's fair. It's bang bang, but that's a defenseless defender right there with his eyes against the ball. The play there, if you're the receiver, is just stand and act like you're setting a pick in basketball. Any sort of forward, upward motion, you're going to get called for that every time.
7th penalty of just this first half alone, going against Pitt. Turner now split wide to the top of your screen, so an empty backfield for Heinschel. Gets it over the middle to Poppy Williams. Williams shows his speed to get out of bounds. Now more flags. Every single flag, I think, in the officials' pockets ended up on the field at the end of that play.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Offense number 25. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah,
Turner goes low here.
And I wonder if this is overcompensating for the last play as well. Ooh, baby. Can't do that. Again, the coaching point there is just get in his way. Set a pick like you're playing basketball. With Williams' speed, he's going to get the corner. It doesn't need to be a lights-out hit. But that's interesting, though. I wonder if that is overcompensating for what he literally just witnessed the play prior.
Pitt averages 7 penalties per game on the season. They have 8 already here in the first half. And on this drive after the turnover, they're moving backwards. Turner. Met. Dropped. Raheem Long.
Interesting to see what Pitt does tempo-wise here. 1:13 left.
I was just thinking that
if
same
you
thing.
go quick, you might give Syracuse the ball back with 2 timeouts. Wouldn't be surprised if they slow down here these next 2 plays.
See what they do here, right? Like,
yep.
2nd and 15, if they can get 3rd and short, might change their mind, but Heinschel to throw. Again, pressure. That's going to be a hold. Everybody saw it. He completes the pass, but it was short to his tight end, Thomas. And Kendall Stanley had a whole armful of it looked like David Reese. David Reese is getting good pressure on the inside.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
You said it, David Reese on left tackle. Kendall Staley, inside move, get him across the chest plate, easy call. David Reese is in his 8th year of college football. They went and got him from Cal in the transfer portal by way of Florida. One of the last remaining COVID eligibility guys.
Yeah, Reese, we were talking to defensive coordinator Elijah Robinson. He said Fadil Diggs, who transferred in from Texas A&M for 1 year here with Syracuse, talked to David Reese and told him about the things that are going on here at Syracuse. Apparently that was enough to convince Reese this was the spot for him. Second down and a long way. Heinzel's just going to run. Design quarterback draw. Works off the block. Gets it out to the 35. Now Syracuse wants the timeout to stop the clock with 40 seconds remaining here in this first half. Coming up next, the ACC Huddle Final Score crew. We'll have highlights, analysis, interviews, and a complete wrap-up the whole day. It's right here on the ACC Network. And by next, I mean after the game, because, of course, the crew's going to be here with halftime in just about 40 seconds. Kelsey's crew. They'll be with you after the game as well to wrap up what is another, I say it every weekend, but it's just another wild day of football across the country, and especially here in the ACC. Moments ago, you and I were looking at the scoreboard. Virginia is trailing, and at last I saw, they're trailing by 10 to Washington State at home.
The Cougs in back-to-back weeks on the road. They almost stunned Ole Miss last week.
Way on the road. Like
yeah.
a long way from the Palouse.
Pullman to Oxford and Pullman to Charlottesville. They're getting their miles in.
Desmond Reed in the game for the Panthers. It's third down and 14. Syracuse has the one timeout left on the board. Let's see how aggressive Pitt wants to get here, and if, at the very least, if they want to force the timeout. No, they're going to pass it. Heinzel downfield has his man, and it's dropped by Kenny Johnson. It had been a tough catch for Johnson as he was losing his footing, but
it looked like Heinzel was banged up a little bit too. Let's see if he got hurt or threw something awkward. That is not good. Right shoulder of a quarterback.
Non-contact too. There's his offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, immediately checking on his quarterback.
That's mental as much as anything for a quarterback. Never know when it's going to slip again.
Junko gets off a good kick. Fair catch by Kerr, close to his own 20. Let's again see Mason Heinzel on that throw, grabbing that right shoulder.
Steps up in the pocket. Off-platform throw a little bit, so maybe his shoulder was put in a more vulnerable position. That's tough, though.
On what is almost certainly his last passing attempt here in the first half.
Gives me a little bit of deja vu. The last snap of football I ever played was in this place, and I had a shoulder injury right on that same spot that he was grabbing his shoulder.
No, we didn't want to do that to you tonight. I want to bring back those memories.
Pat Narduzzi called it my favorite place.
Collins, Pitt, pressure right off the bat. It's almost intercepted. Valori turned inside. Collins thought he was going outside, and Javon McIntyre almost had a huge pick here in the final 30 seconds of this first half.
I was thinking that when Fran Brown called the timeout, like, do you really want Ricky Collins operating a 2-minute drive? Because things like this, he's expecting the tight end to break out, tight end sits down. That could have been catastrophic. I thought Fran Brown called the timeout just to force him to punt and see if you can get a return and make something happen. But right here, I would keep the confidence that Ricky has established in this second quarter and go to the locker room.
Throwing it. Gets it to Nixon. And it's an easy pitch and catch. Nixon can't get much out of it, though. Well, now it's third down. So if you're Pitt, now you're probably thinking, let's force Syracuse to punt. And Fran was not happy about something over there on the sideline with his coaching staff. Pitt's got all 3 timeouts on the board. Not a lot of time to work with, but they could force something here from Syracuse. I don't think Syracuse necessarily wants to put Stonehouse back there to punt the ball. Collins handles a low snap, gets the ball out to Valari. It's incomplete. And that's exactly what Syracuse is going to have to do. Punt it away here with 18 seconds to go.
And again, a 3rd and 7. His one interception in the first quarter was on a out route to the wide side of the field that he threw behind his receiver. That same thing could have happened there. I would have stayed away from that. I think it was poorly executed by Syracuse, whole situation. I get you're trying to get points, but you had all the momentum on your side. Those are 2 dangerous throws.
And a 3 and out that took only 12 seconds off the clock.
Pitt will probably come after him.
Stonehouse, high end over end kick. Johnson from the 32. Makes one man miss, up the middle. He's gonna have to make Stonehouse miss. Can he run by him? He does! Touchdown Pitt!
You hear coaches talk about it every single week, the importance of the middle 8. Last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 of the second half. That is awfully executed by Syracuse. Fran Brown knows it. Pitt and Kenny Johnson take advantage.
66 yards on the return, and with just 2 seconds left to go in this first half, Pitt extends their lead. What a disastrous final minute of the first half for the Syracuse Orange. And the fans here in the JMA Wireless Dome a little restless because of it. PAT is true.
You gave him a pitch to hit. Kenny Johnson makes one man miss, finds a lane, finds a crease, and it's one-on-one in the punt on the punter. His speed and strength's able to break the tackle. And wow, does that flip momentum right away. Syracuse owned this second quarter. Make that first man miss. It's always the coaching point for a punt returner. If you do, you might find yourself in the end zone. If Syracuse was gonna win this game, as you can see on Fran Brown's lips right there, he says, "I can't believe it." And I think we're seeing right there, he's saying, run the dang ball, run the dang ball. But if they were gonna win this ball game, you can't have turnovers. They had one on the first drive. You gotta win the special teams battle as well. Defense is playing well for Syracuse, doing a lot of good things, but the other sides of the ball haven't answered the bell, at least end of that second quarter.
Carpenter squibs it. Hill, can he make something happen in the return game? He's got blockers in front of him. Good return out to the 40, but that will signal the end of the first half. So many things to write home about for Syracuse, but the touchdown on the punt return in the final minute brings out a few boo birds here at JMA Wireless, and it's a 10-point advantage for the Panthers going into the locker rooms. Mason Heinschel's father is happy with what he's seen so far, although he might be concerned about his son's shoulder. More on that when we get back here for the second half. But for now, let's send you to the studio. Kelsey and her crew. Yeah. This is ACC Primetime College Football. It's presented by Serve Pro. Getting set to start the second half inside that building right there, with Pitt holding a 17-7 lead over Syracuse. Max Brown, Chris Cotter with you. I saw you looking at the stat sheet. Throw that out, all right? Just use that as kindling for a fire or something, because it was ugly in the first half. Turnovers, and then the punt return by Pitt to give them this 10-point advantage in the final minute of that first half.
That's what I was trying to check, is the turnovers. How many were there? And that's been the story of this first half, is it's been a game of mistakes. 2 picks from Mason Heinschel, Pitt's quarterback, 1 from Ricky Console, Syracuse-wise, and then the mishap at the end of that first half, Syracuse-wise, which was a nightmare for the Orange.
The key is this injury right here for Pitt. They've got the 10-point lead, but look at Mason Heinschel grab that shoulder. That was late. Their last offensive possession in the first half.
And it's almost up towards his collarbone. That's bizarre. I mean, as a quarterback, you never see that, a non-contact throwing injury, and he was gingerly warming up with that shoulder on his sideline. His offensive coordinator, Kate Bell, was checking out on him, so we'll have to check on him. All right, he's in the huddle, or he's going to give it a go, but that's definitely something to keep your eye on. He was throwing it very gingerly on that sideline, and you don't know if that's him warming it up, trying to ease it on, or if it's some apprehension there.
Kendra Douglas is on the field with more on Heinschel.
Yeah, we'll start with Pitt, and Pat Narduzzi, he told me that Heinschel was good. I asked him, is he good to go? He said he is good to go. What he did tell me, though, is this team's got to play cleaner. He said there's too many penalties and that he needs to see that cleaned up. He mentioned, you saw Boosie over there score a touchdown, but we got to play smarter. When it comes to Syracuse, head coach Fran Brown told me he loves what his defense is doing, wants to see them be a little bit more aggressive and score on defense as well.
Well, the defense is off to a good start there. Dion Wilson stopping Turner in his tracks. So a good start to the second half of the Syracuse defense on first down, now 2nd and 11.
Really intrigued to see what this first passing attempt looks like from a pain tolerance standpoint.
Syracuse showing pressure off the edge. It's picked up. Heinschel to throw. Got good zip on that one. Finding Kenny Johnson over the middle. Looked okay there.
Looked great there. Awesome timing, little seam route. It's a similar route we saw Ricky Collins throw an interception on. Ball's on time. Nice first down pickup.
Pitt wants to go with a little tempo. Bootsy just inside of Syracuse territory. Take a look at that last throw, focusing on Heinschel.
Nice clean spiral. He is stepping into it with his right foot, almost like a pitcher, which is not necessarily what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. Maybe he's trying to make sure he has enough on it there. Gives the thumbs up, no pain there, but definitely something to keep our eyes on.
Pitching it out. Turner again, a lot of room to run, another first down. Well, Heinschel was a good baseball player growing up. His dad, outstanding baseball player, played at University of Michigan. His dad, Eric, is here tonight.
Yeah, he's used to the different arm angles, but different beast when it hurts you. Awesome recruiting story. I mean, there's 4 true freshman quarterbacks starting in Power 4. All the other ones are 5-star guys. He wasn't recruited much.
Finding the tight end here, playing like a 4 or 5-star quarterback. Thomas again on the receiving end. That's 20 more yards.
The thing that jumps out the most, he just has a knack for the timing and anticipation needed to play football at a high level at the Power 4 level. Usually it takes guys years to get acclimated to that. Not Heinzel.
Got an injured Syracuse player on the field. That's the aforementioned Dion Wilson. Big defensive tackle. Mason Heinzel with back-to-back 20-plus yard completions. What about these different arm angles?
Yeah, check him out. Off-platform throws. He's running. That's right there. More sidearm action. Getting flushed out of the pocket, making someone miss. I mean, it's easy to insert the Patrick Mahomes talking point, but this is just baseball, being athleticism.
That's wild right there. Right on the money to Reed, too.
That was a huge touchdown as well.
What you got for us, Kendra?
Well, Mason, he's been playing T-ball, and he just told me that it really has helped him. He said when you're trying to turn a double play, it's all about quick feet, quick hands. He was, a shortstop. He also pitched when he was younger. So he said that has truly carried over to football. And guys, he is still watching baseball to this day. His favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers. He says he's still watching them.
Yeah, I was not watching him anymore.
Yeah, it's tough timing.
He was. Let's take a look at him pitching. All right, here we go.
So let's see this right foot. This is what I want to see. Does the right leg go forward like he's a little bit there? Yeah. Two totally different throwing motions. Really is. Quarterback wise, much more core, lower body. Pitchers, yes, lower body as well, but a lot more torque on your elbow and shoulder. I say that, and he's got a shoulder injury he's working through.
He might be overcompensating a bit. Here's Dion Wilson. At least he's able to walk off under his own power. That's good to see. Fran Brown will never stop talking or pacing the entire game.
Kendra said it. Fran Brown said his defense needs to score points or at least have an impact on that. I think if Syracuse is going to get back in this thing, it's got to be from the defense coming up with a big play.
Turner. That's a good play right there, dropping Turner for no gain. Kevin Jobity from his defensive end spot. They'll give Turner about a yard. Second down and long. Heinzel to throw. Now spins out as pressure forces him out of the pocket. He's in all kinds of trouble here, and he throws it to the end zone and just throws it away. He had a man, Kenny Johnson, in reasonable proximity. I think that's what the officials are going to say. He took a shot at the end, too.
Yeah, and the message to a young quarterback is the second you make your second 360, it's probably time to throw it away, and he got lucky. I don't even think he knew that Kenny Johnson was in the area. It just happened to be. He got fortunate there. That easily could have been intentional grounding.
Most importantly to the Syracuse defense is the crowd is into it here early second half. They have a chance to get off the field with minimal damage on this drive if they can prevent Pitt from converting here on 3rd and 9. Heinzel to throw, pressure up the middle. Now Heinzel spins away, avoids one tackler, can't avoid a host of others. Jobity will pick up Syracuse's 5th sack on the night and force a field goal attempt.
It's a nice job by the Syracuse defense. Going to go man coverage, which means they have a safety, Devin Grant, one-on-one with Desmond Reed and the running back. Nowhere to go. Heinzel's trying to make something happen, but the Syracuse pass rush shows out again.
Budkowski from 42. Snap and hold are good, so is the kick. So the Panthers' first drive of this second half bears points. They're up 13. Pitt extends their lead by another 3 points, 20-7 here early second half action at Syracuse. Mason Heinschel, Pitt fans were a little concerned after he grabbed his shoulder late in the first half. Came out there in that first drive of the second half, looked pretty good. As Fran Brown checks the charts with his staff trying to figure out how on earth did they get something going offensively. Maybe they'll get something on special teams. Hill looking for a seam, it gets popped, and it popped again at about the 23. Now time for Food Lions, food for thought. Fran told us, coaching staff told us, Max, this week, they got to get the running game going, and we talked about it earlier, and they haven't been able to do it.
Easier said than done. That plays right into Pitt's strength. Heading into this game, they were 7th best in the country at rush yards given up per game, and right around 80. So far in this game, Syracuse only has 14 yards rushing.
12 carries for 14 yards, and it looks like Syracuse is going to make the move at quarterback, going with the true freshman Luke Carney from Mesquite, Texas.
A sarcastic cheer from the fans.
The Bronx cheer is what they call it, even here in upstate New York, and still unable to run the football. Francis Brewu on the tackle.
True freshman, head into the season, not expecting to play, sitting comfortable as a third-string quarterback, and then thrust into action. Timing's interesting, though. Obviously, Fran Brown saying, hey, new half, new quarterback. But I thought Ricky Collins had some momentum there towards the end of the second quarter outside of that 2-minute drill.
Collins through his 7th interception on the year. And just 110 pass attempts on the season, so that interception rate is just ridiculous.
Seeing some quarterback run game there with a true freshman. The question is, how much does the playbook condense?
That, by the way, was the longest run of the night for Syracuse. Carney putting them in a 3rd and medium. He and Will Nixon will look to the sideline. Now Nixon will go over to Carney's right. Under 5 seconds on the play clock. Got to snap it quickly, and they do. Here comes pressure. Nixon up the middle, picks up a couple, but it won't be enough to move the sticks. Cameron Lindsay getting playing time at linebacker for Pitt with all their injuries at that position. And it's going to be the 3rd 3 and out of the night for the Orange, and the Bluebirds come out. There's not much you can do here. You're not going to go for it on 4th and 2 with this much time left in the game from your own 30.
You can just sense that Fran Brown's just searching for answers. You know, if they had confidence that Luke Carney could play at a high level, they would have put him in a game and a half ago. You go with a fake punt here at all, though.
They'll lean on Stonehouse to put a charge into it. Johnson calls for a fair catch at his 28. And that's where Pitt will take over when we come back. Up 13 in the second half. Kenny Johnson's punt return touchdown in the final minute of that first half was a backbreaker for a Syracuse team that had battled gritty, gutsy first half just to hang in there, and that put them down 10. Pitt kicked the field goal to start this third quarter, now back on offense. Juelz Goff can't go anywhere. Antoine Delorier is an interesting story. True freshman, we talked about him out of Quebec, Canada, but he played his high school ball in Rabun Gap, Georgia, which is in the mountains. You talk about a culture shock to go from French-speaking Quebec to the North Georgia mountains, and now here to Syracuse as a star in their linebacking corps. Heinzel to throw. Tied into the flat open early. Now Heinzel has room in front of him. Can he get a block? Cannot. Delorier tracked him down and dropped him.
Right on cue. Excellent speed from the middle linebacker position. This feels like a critical third down, too. Pitt's had all the momentum ever since that punt return. You just went to your third string quarterback if you're Syracuse. Your defense, you're going to rely on the rest of the way. Got to keep it close. Got to get off the field here.
Pitt just 2 for 8 on third down. Q's showing pressure up the middle, and they bring it. And they got him. Jobity with another sack.
He got the shoestring. Jobity did. Again, great team rushing by Syracuse. He's able to get that right leg down. Good thing he did, because if Heinzel gets through that, he might still be running. The pressure packages for the Orange have showed up today and are keeping him in this ball game.
6 sacks on the night for the Orange. Junko now to kick it away. That's a bomb. All the way back at his 12. Kerr. Can he get the edge? Hit hard at the 21. Cruz Brookins brings him down. Syracuse has a little bit of life here midway through the third quarter.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
After the sack forced the punt, Syracuse coming out of that TV timeout. Once again with the freshman Luke Carney at quarterback from their own 20. Rolls the pocket, throws a strike to Gill near the sideline. About a 4 or 5 yard gain. Positive thing though was that he was right on target.
Yeah, nice strike. You can see the ball pop out of his hands, accurate throw. The mindset for Luke Carney right now is just play within the scheme. Get the ball out of your hands quickly. Don't make the catastrophic mistake. Honestly, it's very similar to the mindset that was there for Ricky Collins and Jeff Nixon, their offensive coordinator. The approach is probably similar. Obviously, Carney's younger, so the big question is how much of the playbook's in there. But in terms of the approach, they're pretty comparable.
Design quarterback draw. Runs headlong into Braylon Lovelace. Made a lot of tackles tonight.
This is where it's tough. If you're Jeff Nixon, 3rd down, Pat Narduzzi's going to bring some sort of blitz package. That's one of the hardest things for a young quarterback to process. You haven't been running the ball well, so you don't necessarily think that's part of your 3rd and 4th scheme. What's in that playbook that he can get to?
The Orange 0 for their last 3 on 3rd down. Carney to throw. Got time, now he has a receiver, that's a 1st down. It's Will Nixon, his tailback. Just the 6th 1st down of the entire game for the Orange.
Little empty formation, arrow route into the flat. He's there the whole time, found him the ball, get the 1st down.
Now trying to find that running game and still can't do it. Nick Lappy stops Nixon after a gain of maybe a yard. You would think at some point in time as Nixon walks off gingerly, they would just fall into a long run of sorts.
Yeah.
But they can't even catch that break tonight. It has been 1 yard, 2 yards, no yards.
I think he's got to look Dan Villari's way. Tight end, safety valve.
On the move, he shows his quickness. Lappy was tracking him, picked up a couple of yards.
That really is something we haven't seen with either of these quarterbacks, is them moving the pocket, rolling out. That does 2 things. It helps your offensive line out, and then for your quarterback, it splits the field in half, right? If you're rolling to your right, you're only looking to your right. Sometimes those can be easier throws and reads to make.
Play clock at 5, bad snap. Carney's able to pick it up. Just throws that one away as the timing of the play was completely off. And that'll bring up a 4th down.
Just so limited in the passing game at this stage, and the running game for that matter. Defense is playing well. Defense is doing enough to keep them in it. Offense, though, what a stark contrast it is to where it was a month ago, and especially a year ago for Fran Brown.
Stonehouse. Fair catch called for and made by Kenny Johnson. Talked about how this week is really no different from any other week in the ACC. It has been wild. Louisville played so well on the road at Miami to pick up the upset win. They only have 1 loss in conference.
That game was a lot closer than 27-18. That was neck and neck for 3 quarters.
Tech couldn't do anything on offense in the first half before Haynes King and company finally got it going. And SMU, Kevin Jennings had a really good game on the road in Death Valley to beat Clemson.
Yeah, SMU's still hanging in there.
Kate Klubnik, the injury and everything, he didn't play today, but that Clemson defense is also, to hang 35 on that defense on their own in their own backyard.
Kevin Jennings is a player. They lost some pieces from the roster a year ago, but Kevin Jennings is a really good quarterback.
Deuce Chestnut comes up to make the tackle. Chestnut has been a Veteran started here, transferred out, transferred back.
And Pitt, if they finish the deal and take care of business, they're still in the hunt. Man, that top tier, we kept talking about it the first month of the season as the second tier of the ACC, expecting Florida State and Miami to be tier 1, but now Florida State, Miami, they've come back down. It'll be a fun finish.
That pass just sails on Heinschel. He might have grabbed his shoulder just a little bit, or at least kind of trying to get it comfortable again. See, watch this throw.
Anytime you're throwing with your base, meaning your feet not pointed towards the receiver, it becomes all arm and there's tons of stress on your elbow and shoulder. So to limit that pain, he's got to step into his throw and have all his momentum going towards his receiver.
Syracuse defense has been outstanding on third down. Pitt just 1 for 4. Heinschel to throw it here, pressure up the middle. He avoids it at first, but again, the defender comes back and makes him pay. Jamie Tremble, the true freshman, out of the Atlanta area.
And a nice job here, little blitz package. Safety getting involved. Syracuse has had some success with that. Pitt hasn't been able to pick it up. Right in Heinschel's face, too. When you blitz from the outside, it allows a guy like Heinschel to step up and escape. When it's right in his face, hard to manage that.
Kick goes out of bounds near midfield. 6 sacks on the night for the Syracuse team. Most since 2021. Who would have expected this?
They challenged this defensive line too. Lost a lot of good pass rushers off the defense a year ago. Who's going to step up on this squad? And it's a tough challenge when you're facing Heinschel, who's very mobile, slippery. You know, the first 2 starts, he's had a knack for getting outside the pocket, making plays. Syracuse read the game plan, just keep him in the pocket, and they haven't allowed that second play when things break down and Heinschel's escaping and then throwing the ball down the field. We haven't seen much of that.
Syracuse just 95 yards of total offense at the 2:37 mark of the third quarter.
This is where if you have any jet sweeps or your screen package or any quick hitters, the progression pass game won't be there.
Willis, that's his best run of the night. Lowers his shoulder pads and lets Javon McIntyre have it. And that's about 4 yards.
And that's got to be the blueprint, right? Lean on him.
We've mentioned how thin Pitt is at positions like defensive end. They're having to move some tackles to D end. They're without 2 of their 3 starting linebackers now with Lewis going out. So you'd think you'd be able to use Yassin to wear on him a little bit, but they get a TFL just as I say that. And it's one of those linebackers filling in for the injured Kyle Lewis, Cameron Lindsey.
They develop them as good as any program in the country. Next man up at the linebacker spot. It's almost like no matter the name, no matter the jersey number, if you're lining up at linebacker in a Pat Narduzzi defense, you're going to be productive.
And now Ricky Collins back in, as Fran Brown is just trying to figure something out here.
And it's clear if you're putting him in on 3rd and 9, shows you that of the 2, they have more confidence in Ricky Collins operating the progression passing game.
Pressure. Collins trips and falls. He wasn't going to go very far anyway. There were all kinds of white jerseys around him. He had no chance. Nick James, Nick Lappy, and a bunch of others.
And both backups right there. Next man up. Nick James, a defensive tackle spot, just overpowers that Syracuse guard. And to me, if you're Fran Brown making that decision on a 3rd down, well, then Ricky Collins needs to be your guy moving forward. Not fair to Luke Carney, not fair to Ricky Collins. I empathize with he's searching for answers clearly, as that ball almost hits the Jumbotron. But that to me says Ricky needs to be your guy moving forward.
Tuesday night, we're going to have a special conversation with North Carolina men's basketball coach Hubert Davis. He opens up about what it means to him to carry on the legacy at Chapel Hill. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on the ACC Network and on the all-new ESPN app. And if Carolina fans certainly are aware of the way their football team lost the other night, their happy basketball season is here. It has not been a very good football season.
Turn the
for
page
the Eagles.
of new sport. Give me a new sport in here.
Right. Reed just hiding behind that offensive line and then pops out. He's able to get to the edge.
You just lose him because of his size in there, like a pinball machine, just spits out the other side. He is flagging to the sideline, though, and running off gingerly.
Yeah, limping a little bit, isn't he?
He's questionable coming in, having to manage his health. They're going to need him the rest of the way.
He's been nursing, as Kendra told us, nursing that lower body injury now for quite some time. Free play here. Tried to get it to Hicks downfield in double coverage. That was a really tight window.
Defense number 9, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Isaiah Hastings, a little too over-aggressive.
Using the clap and the snap's a little bit delayed. Free play. Mason Heinschel knew it, so giving his guy a shot on the outside lane to make a play as they're checking on Des Reed. And if I'm Pat Narduzzi, if I can get points this drive, keep Des Reed on the sideline. You got a deep enough running back room with Joels Goff and Bootsy Turner. Lean on those guys.
This should be the final play of the third quarter. And he hands it to Goff. He's able to pick up the first down. And Pitt will resume this drive on the other side. 3 quarters in the books. Here from JMA Wireless. Panthers up 13 as we head to the final stanza.
And we're back here with head coach Fran Brown. Coach, your defense has continued to keep you in this game, but what do you need to see from your offense going to this fourth quarter?
Some points. We got to score. We got to move the field, just get some points, just keep going. Just young in the quarterback position and going to keep growing. And I think something will spark here in the fourth quarter. I got faith in those guys, and we're just going to keep grinding and keep pushing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Kendra. Respect.
I respect it, Coach.
Coach Brown for doing the interview, and a lot of coaches may have told Kendra, I'll pass this time around with things not going their way, but Coach Brown understands it. He's got 2 young quarterbacks. Injuries have forced him to put them into action this year. Now he's just got to figure out a way to navigate it.
It's why it's the most important position in sports. I mean, you come off a win with Steve Angeli, feeling great about yourself versus Clemson, and then the total complexion of your entire team changes with one injury.
Defense has played fiercely tonight, though. That's another example of it right there. Goff dropped for a loss. Chris Peel from his cornerback spot, the 12th TFL of the night for this Syracuse defense.
Just the pursuit, every level of this defense here. It's that safety, that nickel spot, coming up with a tackle for loss. And Chris, again, how big is that punt return at the end of the first half? If that doesn't happen, this is a one-score game. Complexion of this game's different, but don't tell this orange crowd that. They're on their feet. They know they got another 3rd and long with the defense playing lights out.
Heintzel's got an empty backfield. Orange come out of their pressure. He gets it to Deuce Spann. He won't even come close to picking up the first down. Demetrius Samuel leads a charge of Orange as they swarm to Deuce Spann and force another punt.
Seeing a little bit of the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator chess match there. Syracuse show and blitz. They roll out of that and roll right into the quick hitting little screen route there. Nice call defensive coordinator wise. Haven't really said Elijah Robinson his name that much, but Syracuse defensive coordinator doing a nice job.
Davian Kerr back to receive this kick. It's another good one. Both punters have had good nights. Kerr at his 8 makes the fair catch. And Syracuse will once again start it back up on offense. Down 13. We mentioned hoops is right around the corner. We got a top 20 tune-up before the season actually tips. An exhibition Friday. Number 11 Louisville hosting number 19 Kansas. 7:30 Eastern right here on the ACC Network. Just a matter of days before this building will be filled with basketball fans. Syracuse basketball. They're hoping to get something to cheer about here in the final 13:27 of this game. Ricky Collins back in at quarterback. He's going to roll and throw. That is a dime, too. That is a hard throw, and he puts it right on the money. And a nice catch by Jonte Cook. You got to be impressed with that throw.
Without a doubt, it's his best throw all game for sure. On the run, someone in his face, tight spiral on the outside lane. Good catch by Jonte Cook. You know, I wonder how much of Fran Brown going with Luke Carney was just to show his team that, hey, I'm turning over every rock, you know, trying to find answers.
Justin Willis will move the sticks.
Was in his press conference this week, he got about 4 different iterations of the same question, like, is Luke Carney going to play? What's happening? At a certain point now he can have that answer, and not only to the media, not that he's catering to the media, but his team as well of, hey, trying to do whatever it takes to get back in this game.
Just the second first down of the entire second half for Syracuse. Collins again to throw, has time, throws a bomb, looking for Gill. And that one looked catchable, but Gill couldn't come down with it. Sean Lee, the freshman, in coverage.
Nice coverage by the true freshman. Pitt will consistently, under Pat Narduzzi, put their corners on island and trust that they're going to be physical and win on the outside lanes. We said it in the first quarter. That's a key for any offense facing Pitt. Have to win the contested catches by your outside receivers because of that fact. Their safeties and the linebackers for Pitt so aggressive, always in the box. Corner susceptible to getting beat.
Pressure up the middle. Collins steps away from it. That's a nice job. Using his legs, still on his feet, down to the 40. McIntyre on the stop. Another first down. Longest play of the night for Syracuse.
Nice job by Collins stepping up in the pocket. You step up, you find a rushing lane, make a linebacker miss in Lovelace. We saw some of that in the second half of the SMU game 2 weeks ago. The legs for Ricky Collins getting unlocked.
Pitt bringing pressure. Collins hangs tough, going again to Gill, and it's intercepted. Marquez into Syracuse territory, still on his feet, cuts back near side. And he gets inside the 20. Ricky Collins was the one who ultimately brought him down. But a third interception on the night for Collins.
And the first on the season for Kavir Baines Marquez, the transfer from UC Davis. It's right in the breadbasket. Thought they may have got a pass interference. Baines is right there, and then an excellent job getting tons of yards back on the return. But again, the Pitt secondary, they are going to live and die by press coverage on the outside, trusting that their corners are going to win, and they have today. And the safeties reaping the benefits with the interception right there.
Yeah, fans here in the Dome thought Lynham might have gotten there a tad early. Didn't get the call, though. And Kavir Baines Marquez got the pick. And for the second time tonight, after a pick, Heinschel is set up with great field position. Turner inside. Slices his way inside the 15, picks up a four on first down.
If you're Syracuse, though, that's a drive you can build off of. Ricky, that was maybe one of his better drives. I mean, you're putting the ball right where it needed to be, just not coming down with a contested catch. Defense has obviously done what they need to do, but from a bright spot, obviously credit the Pitt defense, but I think Ricky showed something there.
That shows you how far they have to go. I mean, if that's a drive you can build on with 2 good passes and 2 good runs, basically, and an interception. Ball knocked away from Hicks. You feel me on that, though? It's kind of
totally.
like
Totally.
It's almost like you reach for anything you can find right now offensively to hang your hat on.
And that's not just me trying to put lipstick on a pig. That's just me. That will be the message to Ricky on the sideline and Fran Brown to the offense is, hey, look at this drive. We are capable of doing good things when players are open, but we're going to have to help out our quarterback and make contested catches, and it's not going to be easy. Compared to a year ago with Kyle McCord, where he was consistently throwing receivers open, night and day different for Fran Brown.
Heinschel facing a third down here, gonna throw. And Williams couldn't run under it. Syracuse defense again bows their backs. You said it to me during one of the commercial breaks, reiterating how amazingly important that punt return at the end of the first half was.
Imagine if they don't have that, which they shouldn't have that. That was poor execution by Syracuse. And that in this game should be 13-7 right now.
Butkowski from 32 yards to make it 23-7. What seems like a much larger lead than that. He does. The advantage for the Panthers increases. Touchdowns have been hard to come by today. First two were off of turnovers. First it was Heinschel's run, then Gill from Collins. And then this was the backbreaker we were talking about. The final 30 seconds of the first half, Kenny Johnson's punt return. And if Syracuse had managed the clock right, would have never happened.
It is funny, you were saying how obscure it is that we're talking about that last drive for Syracuse being a bright spot offensively. How crazy is it that we're saying a backbreaker in the first half as a punt return? It shows you how desperate they were for offense, and you could kind of feel that they weren't going to have offense in the second half.
And the defense had done, and still has done in this game, done a fantastic job to keep them in it with absolutely no offense to speak of. Here's Hill. Can Syracuse get something going on special teams? That's a good return out beyond the 30. Now, as you said moments ago, let's see what the Orange can do with Ricky Collins if they can build on that game.
If I'm Jeff Nixon, the one thing they have had success with is out routes to Jonte Cook in the slot. That, to me, number 2. Whether it's rolling your quarterback out, whether it's trying to get that matchup again, they've been 4 for 4 on that concept today.
Collins again to throw. It's Villari. That is exactly what Villari can do. Kind of like a Mark Bavaro type. Just get the ball in his hands, let him bound down the field, and take would-be tacklers with him.
Syracuse utilizing a little tempo here.
Willis finally breaks free, spins, but flags down. This one may be coming back as Yasin Willis uncorked his best run.
Offense number 78, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Right guard Joe Cruz.
Be a right guard, see how they get him. Yeah, a little bit of a yank at the end. I believe that was on Braylon Lovelace, the middle linebacker for Pitt, blitzing in there. It's too bad, too, because it kind of felt like Willis was past him by that point.
First penalty of the second half against the Cuse. Willis again in the backfield. Collins to throw. Pressure up the middle, dumps it off. Gill couldn't handle it. It was low and behind him. Would have been a really tough catch. Again, it's a shame he couldn't hook up with Gill, though, because he might have had some room to run if he hits him in stride.
Yeah, he had that route to Gill early on in the first half. Little 5-yard drag route working left to right. As a quarterback, you want the defense to pressure you with that route because it means linebackers are vacating their zone, and you just got to find a way to get the ball to your receiver. Because once he catches it, you can run down the right sideline.
Pitt brings pressure, but it's picked up. Collins avoids a tackler, still on his feet as he falls forward. He's going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down. Rashad Battle and Cameron Lindsay made the tackle, but again we've got flags. Looks like another holding call going to go against Syracuse.
Holding. Offense number 60, 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
That time it was Beachran.
There's guys open, like he had Villari here on a little sit route. You know, if he gets that ball out on time, 1, 2, 3, ball out, that receiver's open in college football. Villari being a playmaker there, those are the types of plays that when you have an experienced quarterback, he's able to anticipate that, even though it's 3rd and long, put it on the right shoulder. Those are the learning opportunities for a young QB.
Collins has a lot of room to run, and he takes advantage of it. Forced out of bounds at the 36 by Cameron Lindsay.
And if you're Syracuse, I think you've got to go for it at this point in the game. Wouldn't be surprised if they go right back to the concept that we just drew here. Villari one-on-one with a linebacker. And remember, in college football now, Jeff Nixon can talk to Ricky Collins in his headset. So I'm sure that's what he's telling him. Let me give you that concept again. Trust it if he's open. Don't pre-play the play. But Villari's your mismatch.
Villari is in the slot. Bottom of your screen there, number 89. We'll get a timeout, Pitt.
Charge timeout.
Maybe defensively, defensive coordinator Randy Bates saw exactly what you saw and wants to make sure that that doesn't come back to bite him. Sundays are for women's sports here on the ACC Network. Tomorrow we start at noon Eastern with soccer. Number 2 Stanford squares off against Miami. Then in volleyball, Syracuse hosting number 21 North Carolina, right up the street from where we are right now. Let's see if Syracuse lines up the same way they did on that last play, and it looks like they've got Villari now on the top of your screen as an H-back. Now they'll spread him out in the slot. Free play. Collins goes to Jonte Cook, and he makes the catch. 27 yards, taking advantage of the overzealous defensive front.
The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
That's an excellent throw from everybody involved. Look at Ricky Collins hanging in this pocket. He knows defensive linemen are going to tee off on him, takes a hit, gets the ball out of his hands. Accurate throw, excellent catch by Jonte Cook. And then I love the call by Jeff Nixon. Coming out of a timeout, you go on a hard count. Hard count means going on 2. That got the Pitt defense to go off sides, and you get a first down.
Collins again wants to run. All kinds of real estate in front of him. Inside the 20, leaps over a defender, out of bounds at the 14. Well, he doesn't lack in athleticism.
We said the traits flash. We said that in the open. That wasn't just lip service. The athleticism, the arm strength. You've seen some of the accuracy with the downfield throws. It's just a matter of piecing it all together. He's doing that on this drive.
And building on the last drive, it seems like one is better than the other. Willis finds a little seam, picks up 5.
Now this is where time becomes a factor. This can't take you 3 minutes or 2 whole minutes to score a touchdown. Down 2 possessions. You're only down 16. I'm doing my math in front of me right now, so technically only 2 possession game.
They'll have first and goal here after Willis was finally getting something going on the ground. He's able to move the sticks. They'll give it to Willis again. This time nowhere. Maybe even loses a yard.
Seen Dan Villari line up at Wildcat one time. I wonder if they go back to that at any point. Definitely 4 down territory, so with it being 4 down territory, kind of get a bonus down. With that, maybe this is your opportunity to try to play action, see if you can sneak one past Pitt.
Collins is going to throw the fade to Cook in the corner. He made the catch, but he's out of bounds. Flag right at the point, too. Rashad Battle in coverage. And that's going to go against Pitt.
Pass interference. Defense number 15. The ball is placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
First time we've called Justice Ross Simmons. One-handed catch. This is a receiver that has an extremely high ceiling. Just a matter of keeping him healthy. Coming off a sprained ankle. Excellent catch. And then pass interference, obviously, on Rashad Battle.
Battle is hot. Not happy with the call against him. Fresh set of downs now inside the 5. Collins under center, hands it to Willis. He bounces it. Can't get anywhere, and yet another flag.
Holding. Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Call once again goes against Beatran. The official should just leave a flag on the field for the entire rest of the 4th quarter.
Going outside zone, puts your left tackle in a tough spot if he doesn't get leverage. He does not there, Francis Brewu. Right away, he's like, ref, throw the flag. And these Pitt defensive tackles, you have thin linebackers, we've talked about that, thin defensive ends. The defensive tackles for Pitt, not even just this game, really the past month, have been the anchor for this defense.
So now Collins has more room to operate in the passing game. And he'll score. Emmanuel Ross. There are no flags. Just wanted to make doubly sure. Ross with his first touchdown of the year.
Nice job by Collins with the slant. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. If he waits at all, that's Pitt going the other way. Excellent job by Ricky Collins, and They're going to go for 2 here.
Dose. They're actually going to go for Dose. Brought to you by Dos Equis. Hook in motion, now back to the slot. Collins rolls it that way. He's going to have to do it on his own, and he won't get there. Cameron Lindsey's had a heck of a game. Prevents him from getting in to make the conversion. Still, though, Collins looking to build on what was a rough first half for him. A couple of good drives here in the fourth quarter, finishing up this one with a touchdown pass.
ACC Primetime Football is presented by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
Legendary head basketball coach, recently retired, Jim Boeheim. Obviously, look at that career. Oh, the onside kick, and it's going to work out for Syracuse. Ricochets off a Pitt player and right into the hands of the Orange.
That is textbook execution by Jaden O, the kicker. This is intentional. He's trying to bolt it right at the front line, and it goes straight off his face mask, not expecting it. That is a kicker coming up with the biggest play of the day so far.
Cornell Perry fell on it.
Talk about accuracy. Hey, hit the front line. With the front line guy on his face mask.
Jaden O, the kickoff specialist, and he showed you why on that one. Collins on the last drive was 3 for 4 for 47 yards. He's putting together a body of work here in the fourth quarter that he can build on, and that should have been another completion, and Willis dropped it. And he might have had something going there because he had blockers on the edge.
And he's pointing out his visor. I'd imagine, saying it's foggy. Maybe that's an excuse, I don't know, but he's been playing in the dome for a few games now. At this point, you should know if it's foggy or not.
Another injury for Pittsburgh. This time it's defensive end Jimmy Scott. Man, they are going to have to go to the student body and find defensive ends this week.
That's a big deal. Jimmy Scott and Nate Temple have played a lot of plays for Pitt. As we look at Ricky Collins' last drive, it was really his best drive. You saw his legs get involved, scrambling. That was on a second down there, and then the downfield throw when Pitt went off sides, getting Jonte Cook involved. The traits are there. It's just a matter of him settling into this game, getting more confidence so he can pull the trigger quickly like that. Getting in for a touchdown. And Chris, we talked about the punt return to end the first half, but you also, by electing to go with Luke Carney for those 2 drives in the third quarter, those were 2 drives of just nothing offensively. Maybe it was 3, but now that Collins has, got some momentum, those are missed opportunities as well. I understand why Fran Brown did it, but in hindsight, you missed 6 or 7 minutes of football time in that third quarter.
As we look at Fran Brown, and Jimmy Scott continues to be looked at by this Pitt staff.
Yeah, Pitt, their 2 starting defensive ends, or Jimmy Scott's one of them. He's been a 2-year starter for Pitt, but they went in the portal and got Jaden Moore from Oregon. He on paper was their best defensive end, and then Blaine Spires also from the portal, Utah State. Those guys were their most athletic defensive ends. Both those guys are out. Joey Zielinski banged up.
He was out. He's back in this week, but I haven't seen him yet this week. We certainly have seen Jasir Whittington play a little bit.
Zach Crothers was out.
Isaiah Neal has had to move from defensive tackle to defensive end.
He's in the left-hand side frame there as we're seeing the drop pass from Willis. Hopefully he's okay.
2nd down and 10 for Collins. Again, he gets the jump. This will be a free play, so he's going to try and take advantage of it. And it falls incomplete. Fran Brown running down to have a word with his receiver.
Offside. Defense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Brown is always going to his players right after a play. He's always finding a player to say something to.
It's like the strength coach getting hyped up, except for you're the head coach. And again, Syracuse able to get him to jump off sides, which is not insignificant because Syracuse down 10. A touchdown and a field goal does something for you. So if you get 20 more yards and get into field goal range, even if you get stopped, keeping this drive going, coming up with points.
They do still have 3 timeouts on the board as well, and Woody's got a good leg. Another one. This time they're going to blow it unimpeded to the quarterback, so they'll pick up 5 yards. Let's make sure it's not a false start. Ferguson seems to be upset.
False start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Yeah, let's see if TJ Ferguson flinched a little bit here. Yeah, he did. He caused the offside.
He came back hooting and hollering at his quarterback, so there's something going on cadence-wise where they're not on the same page.
Ferguson's a veteran, former starter at Florida State before transferring here to Syracuse. Low snap again. Collins goes down to get it. Under pressure, avoids it. Still on his feet. Now he's got blockers in front of him. Going to make something happen here. He's going to make a lot happen. Slides down at the 33. Syracuse fans and the entire bench lights up. They want to call. I don't think they're going to get it.
This is outstanding pocket movement.
Got
defensive linemen
10-yard penalty.
crawling all over him.
Repeat 2nd
Escapes the
down.
pocket. I think they're going to get holding right there on Yasin Willis.
The call is coming. It's just not going Syracuse way. It's going the other way. 21 yards on a brilliant scramble negated. Now let's see how far they march it back. If it's a hold against Willis, it'll be 10 yards from the spot of the hold if it's downfield. That looks to be the case. So when they net it all out, it's going to be 2nd down and 15 from the 40. Pitt brings pressure. Collins gets rid of it. Catching, not made. Gill couldn't quite scoop it. Isaiah Neal, mentioned him now having to play some defensive end on the pressure, and he's shaken up on the play.
Bad news is Isaiah Neal's down. Good news is the guy he ran into was Jimmy Scott, who was down on the play before, or a couple plays before.
So now this Pitt staff checking in on Isaiah Neal. You're looking at 2 in white, coming off the far edge. Yeah, he hits Collins.
Looks back.
Maybe.
Oh, he's cramping, I bet. Not that. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully that's just the case. But in the dome, as a former player, that's my first reaction there. Pat Narduzzi made a joke in his press conference this week about, hey, when Dino Babers was the head coach here, they had no air conditioning and they would make this thing real toasty. Little home field advantage. Now they got AC, so
I can attest to that.
Like that.
Any game, no matter what time of year played in this dome back in the day before they had the AC, was sweaty mess. It'll be 3rd down and 15 when we resume play. And it's good to see Isaiah Neal on his feet, and he'll walk off slowly under his own power.
Neal was one of those guys playing both defensive tackle and defensive end, given their depth concerns. So they got to go deeper into that defensive line unit. The message here, if you're Pitt, is you cannot let that man's legs beat you. Stay in your rush lanes. Force him to beat you through the air and force his receivers to make a play.
Yeah, this is amazing.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
He's gotten Pitt a couple of times, but now the Panthers have found some discipline, and he's getting his own players.
It's just a lack of focus. A new left tackle in there, and B-Tran, the transfer from Alabama. 6'6", 320.
Clean snap. Collins on the run. Dropped. And Gillis had a good game, but he's had a couple he should have come up with, and that certainly is one of them. That was a heck of a throw on the move, and Gill looks like he's might have jammed a finger on that attempt.
By how fast he was running off the sideline, might be a little bit more than a jam.
Well, we hope that's not the case. I shouldn't presume.
Yeah. Yeah, you catch that, it would have been 4th and 5. Instead, it's 4th and forever. Look for Ricky to escape the pocket. Can he find one of his receivers in a soft spot in this Pitt defense?
Pressure. Collins throws that one up for grabs, and his receiver, Jalen Hornsby, just ran out of room. That'll be a turnover on downs.
We've been giving the Syracuse defense a lot of love, but this Pitt defense has played lights out, obviously. It's been a struggle offensively for Syracuse, but these corners for Pitt, love contact, gonna be physical on the outside. They're gonna contest everything. It's the DNA of a Pat Narduzzi defense. They've been thin at defensive line, like we've talked about, thin at linebacker. Secondary stepped up in a big way today.
And that will send the few that remained here in the dome to the exits. Turner. It has been tough sledding for these Pitt running backs today as well. You certainly made mention of how Syracuse has had a hard time finding the running game. Pitt has as well. Timeout for Syracuse. They'll have 2 more left.
Yeah, it really feels like Pitt's had, complete command of this game, but the score kind of says otherwise. Only a 10-point ball game. It's because of exactly that. Syracuse has been able to, their defense, their front 7, keep them in it.
Yeah, Pitt is just over 100 yards rushing on the day.
The time of possession things, or that stat's a big one for Pitt too. It's an area they've jumped up in a big way with Heinschel as their quarterback. A lot of 3 and outs before Heinschel was their QB. The efficiency of what he's brought the past 3 games has allowed the offense to stay on the field.
Yeah, 44 yards lost to TFLs, sacks included in those rushing yards for Pitt. Kenny Johnson on the speed sweep. Gonna get that down to about the 26. Trainer's room is going to be very full here over the next couple of days.
We're about that time of the season,
Man.
Chris. Back half of the season, the depth for a lot of these teams going to get tested. We were talking with Randy Bates, Pitt's defensive coordinator, and in the transfer portal era where you never know always what you're going to get, true freshmen have to be ready to play. That's your depth for a team like Pitt.
Heinschel stiff arms a defender. Now a flag comes out as he's forced out of bounds. He did pick up the first down. Let's check the marker though. And we've got a Syracuse player down.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 8. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. Automatic first down. Official timeout for an injury.
Reese is the guilty party, but it's Delorier that's hurt.
Yeah, you see Heinschel trying to get that stiff arm. I almost thought he got the face mask. Instead, it's Reese in there, and good sign for Syracuse that Delorier is up now, but obviously an impact linebacker for him. It's a good-looking true freshman. 6'1", 235, being a middle linebacker as a true freshman. Let's see at the.
Yeah, may have gotten the ankle caught in that the scrum. Good news for Delorier is that ankle injury won't force him to miss arm day. He'll still get in there.
Or calf day. Actually, it will.
Yeah.
Maybe calves are part of the rehabilitation.
Tough run by Mason Heinschel. He isn't afraid to stick it in there.
If I'm Pat Narduzzi, I don't want my quarterback with a shoulder issue stiff arming and just go down in bounds, keep the clock rolling.
Pitt's got NC State next week at home, 3:30 on the ACC network. Syracuse, meanwhile, travels to Atlanta to take on undefeated Georgia Tech at noon. Heinschel. Flags down again as he hits his tight end. Thomas just walked into the end zone. Did they blow this play dead? I don't think so, but Thomas certainly was sauntering into the end zone like he heard a whistle. Max, I got to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen a game with this many flags. It's like almost every single play. And injured players and 24th penalty combined in this game.
The injured players, yeah, that's what sticks out. A lot of flags. Flags you're expecting to see on week 1, not middle of the season, post-bye week.
24 of them, and we've only had 27
there are 2
first
fouls,
downs.
both by the offense. Illegal motion, number 23. That's a 5-yard penalty. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53. It's a 15-yard penalty. Each penalty is enforced. It's first down.
Kendall Stanley, the guilty party on the personal foul.
And they got Zion Fowlerell, the slot receiver. When you motion, you have to be parallel with the line of scrimmage. You can't get going downhill.
Right at the 10, you'll see the offensive lineman finish the play right there.
There's not a lot there. I guess the refs were saying he crossed the goal line, so it's completely unnecessary, but as an offensive line coach, some of that's taught, that nastiness.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Either way, it backs Pitt up. It's a first down, and another flag.
4 of them.
There are 2 fouls by the offense. 5 players in the backfield. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 56, 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
The center, Lyndon Cooper, guilty of the hold. And there it is, right in the backfield, taking down the Syracuse defender.
Correction, both penalties are declined. It's second down.
We haven't said Cooper's name today, but he's the anchor of this offensive line. Good to see him healthy, too. He got banged up 2 weeks ago when we had their Boston College call, but with 2 starters to his left out for a long time, or at least indefinitely, keeping 56 healthy and playing at a high level. You see the C on his chest right there. Extremely important, especially when you have a true freshman quarterback.
Johnson in motion. Heinzel looks that way, gets it to him. Patiently waited for some blockers. No, stay in bounds! Now he gets forced out of bounds close to the 20.
You saw in your living room his teammate yelling at him. Malachi Thomas saying, "Stay in bounds." He's like, "No, I'm trying to score." Listen to it here.
No, stay in bounds! At that point, he was airborne. It wasn't anything you could do about it.
Please set the game clock to 3 minutes, 57 seconds.
Syracuse calls their second timeout. As Fran continues to wear out that field judge.
Surprised he didn't switch polos.
Right, yeah, right.
To, wear the polo out.
Let's check out the ACC standings up to date. Now, Virginia beat Washington State. It was an out-of-conference game, but they beat them with a safety, a late safety. Got them the winning margin. SMU, a very impressive win on the road at Clemson today. Georgia Tech didn't look great in the first half. They got the win at Duke. Just circled Pitt, part of that big group of teams with 1 loss in conference. That includes Louisville, who beat Miami, who also has 1 loss in conference now, although they've played fewer games.
Assuming Pitt finishes this out, what a 3-week swing it's been for the Panthers. We were talking about, hey, they're just fighting for bowl eligibility a couple of weeks ago. Now they find themselves right in the thick of the ACC hunt.
Heinzel finds Williams inside the 5. They'll be 4 down, but 4 down in a couple. Kerr makes the tackle.
If there was any concern about the shoulder health, not seeing it on that throw. That was a dart. Oh, and then he's right on cue, he's still messing with it.
Kind of rotating that shoulder a little bit. If you're just joining us, you're joining us here in the second half. Heinzel apparently hurt his shoulder. On Pitt's last offensive drive of the first half. Came out in the second half. Looked good to go. He's played every snap in the second half.
And it was a non-contact injury. You know, most of those, it's, hey, a quarterback tried to lower a shoulder or got hit and landed on the shoulder. From what we've seen, a what we saw, it was none of that.
His father, Eric, here in attendance.
Yeah, Heinz only 13 for 24, had that huge run for a touchdown in the first quarter on the first drive after a turnover. That really gave Pitt all the momentum early on in the game, and ever since then, Syracuse has been trying to climb back.
4th down and 2. They'll give it to Goff. It stopped short of the goal line. That's going to be a first down, though. And with Syracuse out of timeouts, Pitt will be able to run some more clock here. It was 2nd down and 31 at one point in time, but I lost track of that with all the penalties on both these teams. First and goal. Heinz working that play clock down before he sends Kenny Johnson in motion. Goff, stop short of the goal line.
The fact that Goff is their 3rd running back with the burst that he has. Got to track Des Reed's health too. We haven't seen him back in the game since he's jogged off the field gingerly.
Great point.
I think Pitt can survive without him for a week, depending on the opponent. But to contend for an ACC title, they have to have Desmond Reed.
Yeah, he had 6 carries on the day. And to your point, we haven't seen him much lately. Goff tries to find his way. He's going to be close, but stopped short. This will take us to the 2-minute timeout. We'll take the timeout with him. 10th play of this drive, inside the 1 on 3rd and goal when we come back. Max Brown, Kendra Douglas, Chris Cotter with you. Just wrapping things up from Syracuse coming out of this 2-minute timeout in the fourth quarter. Pitt on a 10-play drive, marred by penalties, but they've gotten it down inside the 1. And now they face a 3rd and goal. Haven't been able to punch it in the first 2 plays. Inside the 5. Let's see if they can do it here on 3rd down. Again to Goff, he walks it. Now we get some pushing and shoving and some frustration from a Pitt offensive lineman. That was Lyndon Cooper again. Miraculously, the officials didn't throw a flag, though.
That hole is wide open. Excellent job by that right-hand side. B.J. Williams, Ryan Baer, right guard, right tackle. Talked about Lyndon Cooper beforehand. Joels Goff might be one of the 2-headed monsters. If Desmond Reed is maybe banged up moving forward, we don't know. But man, is this a stable of backs Pitt has.
Bunkowski with the try, 30-13. 1:57 remaining. We talked about what Pitt has coming up. Next week, NC State at home. 3:30 on the ACC network. Then they got to make a tough trip out west. They got to play in Palo Alto, right? So you're going all the way out to Stanford.
I was talking with Pitt's GM on the field before the game too. That's a trip Pat Narduzzi's never really made, and fact check me on that. But obviously Stanford's new to the ACC, but Pitt going all the way west, that'll be new for Pat Narduzzi.
And then look at the last 3. Notre Dame, which obviously won't affect them as far as their ACC record is concerned, but then at Georgia Tech and finishing with Miami at home.
Those last 2 games feels like those could have ACC championship implications. And the difference is, 2 weeks ago, we would have said, hey, Pitt's playing spoiler. It could be, Pitt's playing a factor in that, just as much as Miami and Georgia Tech.
The fact that they're playing Georgia Tech in Miami those last 2 games means they're going to factor into this thing.
Yeah.
Whether they get there in position to play in the championship game or not, Pitt is going to be a huge factor in November as to who actually ends up playing in that ACC championship game. So as we've documented tonight, it could be any one of 8 teams about right now.
With every week that goes by, Mason Heinschel becomes less and less like a true freshman. He never looked like a true freshman, but getting more and more experience under his belt. And Pat Narduzzi deserves a lot of credit. I mean, it's never easy benching a quarterback. Eli Holstein's a good player. They invested a lot in him, both reps-wise and NIL-wise. To make the switch to Heinschel, it's totally changed the complexion of this team.
Pitt continues to bring pressure on Collins. And he continues to improve, finding Jonte Cook.
Out routes to Jonte Cook need to be a part of the game plan moving forward. No questions asked.
This time Gill. Ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
Officials timeout for an injury.
Lindsey was banged up a bit, but he was able to hop up, walk off under his own power. Pitt can't have another linebacker go down, and Lindsey's played really well tonight.
Yeah, for those that weren't with us in the first half, Kyle Lewis, their All-American linebacker, went down with an injury, so Cameron Lindsey was the guy that filled in his spot.
Pressure, look out, Collins is going to be dropped. Isaiah Neal got him. Neal's one of those players who's having to play a different position, defensive tackle by trade. They've had to move him outside to the end spot.
Man, they're still getting pressure. That's as easy as it comes. You can see why he kind of has that frame where he's big enough to be inside a defensive tackle, but you see the athleticism there that allows him to be an effective defensive end.
He's only listed at 265. He's 6'2", 265, so he's not He doesn't have the girth of a typical inside, what would you call it? The two technique. That pass was pretty good too. Unfortunately, his receiver, Hornsby, couldn't bring it in. Fourth and 21. Pressure picked up initially. Collins on the move. Had a receiver coming back, just couldn't get enough mustard on it to get it to Ross, and you will have a turnover on downs, and with no timeouts left for Syracuse. Pitt should take 2 knees. This one will finally be in the books.
Test for Fran Brown is how does he keep his team in it? Coming into this game, they'd never dealt with back-to-back losses. Now it'll be 3 straight losses coming out of a bye week. I think the emotional high of beating Clemson and feeling like you're going to be on the top of the ACC to then now where you're at just 3-4 weeks later trying to find yourself identity-wise. Fran Brown will have a lot of work ahead of him, and he knows it. He was honest with us yesterday in the meetings. He knows it's a tall task ahead of him.
Think about the talent they lost to the NFL last year. McCord, Quinn Allen, Rondé Gadsden on defense, Diggs, Marlowe, Wax, Justin Barrett. I mean, the list goes on and on, all off of one team to the NFL.
It's the reason they kind of went under the radar, not for Syracuse fans, maybe not ACC fans, but nationally, that Syracuse had the most prolific passing attack in the country last year. Led the country in passing yards per game. Had a lot of weapons he had to replace. And again, what a 3-week flip for Pitt. We had their Boston College game 2 weeks ago. They were 2-2. We said, hey, winner of that game on a path towards bowl eligibility. You blink 2 more weeks and Pitt finds themselves firmly in the ACC title race.
Two coaches embrace in the middle of the field.
2 defensive guys too.
Yeah, a lot of mutual respect there. Another game, another win for Mason Heinschel in his career at Pitt. And for the Orange in their quarterback room, another game of growth, and hopefully a positive 4th quarter is something they can build on moving forward.
I think so. 4th quarter was definitely better than the 1st quarter. So in terms of growth and trying to find some sort of positives, Ricky Collins and his legs made some good throws as well. They're gonna have to pick it up around him though. It's not just a quarterback thing, it's all 22 starters. ACC is gonna be fun next 6 weeks, Chris. Gonna be fun.
And very unpredictable. No question about that. We saw a lot of young players in this game. Delorier, you just saw Heinschel, a freshman. Future is, I know it's not a guarantee that all these players will finish out their college careers on their current rosters, but it certainly is positive to know that if they so choose to, the ACC's got a lot of quality young players. Kendra Douglas is on the field with Coach Narduzzi.
Coach, you just let out a big sigh just now. I mean, just walk me through the emotions of this kind of win.
Boy, you know, they all count as one. It was an ugly win, but they all count as one. You know, we moved to 5-2. It's a great ACC win on the road. Any win is hard, and we got another one.
How big was Kenny Johnson's return for that 66-yard touchdown to change the momentum of this game?
No doubt about it. You know, we talked about it last night. We talked this morning about we had to have an explosive return. We thought we could get one, and we got one.
You guys take on NC State next week. What's going to be the message to your guys about how you want to see some things cleaned up ahead of that game?
You know, this is uncharacteristic of what we've been. I mean, you know, we jumped off sides, went down to Florida State, didn't. We got to clean it up, which we got them all out today, so there's none left for next week.
All right, thanks, Coach. Congrats.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, everybody hopes that's the case, especially the broadcasting crew.
Got him
next week. A lot of flags in this one. He said it was an ugly win, but it's a win nonetheless. Going to wrap it up for us here in Syracuse. Pitt with the big win on the road. For Max Brown, Kendra Douglas, and our entire crew, I'm Chris Conner saying so long. Let's send you to the ACC Huddle final score.